Thursday, we're having the semifinals of the Lindores Abbey tournament. Um, Ding is playing Dubov, and Magnus is playing Naka. I assume it's the same as the quarterfinals, which means they play a match every day, and each match is 4 games. If it's tied at 2, they play an Armageddon game. Then the next day, they do the same thing. If it's 2-0, that person goes to the finals. If it's 1-1, they play a match the next day. So we're either going to have 3 days of these matches, or we're going to have 2. And then there's the finals, which I also assume is the same thing, but I don't know. The tournament ends like June 3rd-ish. So it's the 28th. It sounds like it's going to be a 3-day semifinal and a 3-day final if the matches go all the way. Time control's 15-minute with a 10-second increment. At 4 o'clock today, which is in a little over 6 hours my time in Eastern, is the next event, and that's sponsored and organized by the St. Louis Chess Club. It's the Clutch Cup. Got to clutch your cup. And that's also a knockout, and Naka and Dominguez were knocked out. So is going to play Fabi Caruana the next 2 days. So that tournament ends in 2 days, and this one ends in 6 days, I think. So there'll be a lot of chess. There'll be chess all the time. So I'll be streaming at 10 a.m. Eastern and at 4 p.m. Eastern today and tomorrow. And then Saturday and on, I'll just be doing the 10 a.m. Eastern one because the other tournament's going to be over. And Magnus is supposed to have like 6 tournaments between, I guess, April and October in this series of, these kinds of players. Now, St. Louis, after this tournament's over at 4 p.m., the Clutch Cup, they're going to have another tournament with 8 players, I think. I think it's 8, but it's at least 8. And that's also going to be all, 2,700 kind of guys. And that starts, I think, June 6th. Yeah. So June 6th to 14th. St. Louis is having another one of these kind of tournaments with, 8 to 12 players of, 2,800. I don't have the details about that. So eventually I'll know. Let's see. What does it say? It says, you're streaming. Yay. All right. I haven't read this stream yet, and I haven't refreshed. So let me do that. Go Ben, yo Ben. Will BoxBox be in the final? He might be in the final of that chess.com tournament they have with the streamers. It's possible. BoxBox is probably better than most of the other streamers that are playing, but I'm not sure. But he might be. I'm not sure how that's working. I don't know what that is. I know you were kidding, but there is going to be a streamers chess tournament where it's just people who don't play chess professionally, and they stream other games, and they're playing in a chess tournament. And that starts, I don't know, in a week. I don't know. There's too many events online now. Everybody's playing at the same time. They start at 10 o'clock, which is in 16 minutes. Yeah. And so forth. Is the World Championship still on despite COVID? Has FIDE made an announcement? FIDE says they're going to continue the candidates tournament at some point, but nobody really knows when. They claim September, October, but that seems a bit optimistic. Also, the National Open, which is a tournament in Vegas every June, has been rescheduled to September, which also seems optimistic to me. So we'll see. In a real life tournament, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Notice me or else you won't notice me. I notice everybody. Sometimes I just don't read it though. Yeah, you can't really plan ahead for. Somehow you missed it. Oh, okay, cool. Hey, people in the chat, we need to get a new webcam. I think the USB cord is bad, and we need to get a new microphone because we don't like it. So I want to get like the best, most expensive microphone for streaming, and we want to get a new webcam. If you guys have suggestions, I've looked on the web on several different sites, recommended and so forth. But if you have personal experience or you really like something, can you let Karen know? It's Karen at atlchessclub.com, or you can tell her in the chat. So probably over the next week or two, we'll get a new webcam and microphone. This microphone was highly recommended by chess.com, and they give it to me for free. But that was, that was years ago. Probably this was the best microphone like 6 years ago. I'm guessing they've improved. I don't know. The webcam was also, I don't know if they recommended it or we just found it. So anyway, now there's two kinds of microphones. Remember, don't tell me, tell Karen. Yeah, Blue Yeti is good. And there's another one that's good that I thought was like tied with Blue Yeti. There's two kinds of microphones that you can stream with. There's the USB one, which we have. Then there's the other one that has another name. It has 3 letters. That seems much more complicated. You might have to install software and so forth. I don't want to do that. I just want to plug it in and have it be great. So, yeah. This one is a Samson CO1U, and that's the one chess.com sent us. And they also send me separately the shock thing, I guess. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't want what most streamers use. I want like a better one. So, no, the mic is okay. We want a better mic, right? We don't want to say, yeah, that mic's good, and this guy has a better mic. I don't want anybody to have a better mic. So, yeah. Yeah, email Karen at atlchessclub.com. I don't care how much the mic costs. And I want it to be better than other streamers. And if you can recommend a webcam too, I don't like this webcam. Yeah. And so forth. No, I'm not saying the quality's not good. I want to have the best mic. That's all. Yeah. All right. Right. I wanted to say, wow, Ben has the best mic. I don't want to say, Ben's mic's okay. The other mics are better on the other streams. Right. The webcam's okay. The mic is okay. I want better ones. Price is no barrier. That's right. If it costs $500, $400, $300, $200, I don't want you to say, oh, get this one at $79.99. It's on sale. I don't care about that. I stream twice a day. I want to have a good mic. Yeah. So Acme mic, that sounds like what the Coyote would use. Yeah. Right. Karen doesn't speak very loudly and she's not close to the mic, you know. Michael Jordan's pretty good. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, if you guys can recommend, okay. And preferably a USB mic so that we just plug it in instead of taking, 7 hours to set it up. I don't want to set it up over several hours. I just want to plug the mic in and it's good. Okay. And I've been to the internet and I've looked at several review pages reviewing mics, and I have a pretty good idea. But, if you guys have to, if you guys have a better, yeah, Rode mic seemed pretty reasonable also. Mike Tyson Mysteries is a great show. If you've never seen Mike Tyson Mysteries, it's really good. That's one of my favorite shows. It's not on very often, and it has the 15-minute runtime like Robot Chicken. But Mike Tyson Mysteries is hilarious, starring Mike Tyson. Yeah. It also has Norm Macdonald. So there you go. I've sold you. Norm Macdonald is Pigeon. Yeah. When's the match? It's in 11 minutes. Yeah. All right. Yeah, good questions. Norm Macdonald is good. Yeah. NT1 Road. Yeah, I saw that one, and the O has a line through it. Yeah. Anyway, if you have suggestions, especially from personal experience, if you can email Karen at atlchessclub.com, because we're going to do this pretty quickly. We want a new mic. We want a new webcam. So if you guys have some ideas of getting the best one, I don't care how much it costs. Just ones that are good so the stream is good. Okay. Right. Well, don't get the. I don't want the best mic that's not good for my streaming because the room's too small or we have to do 5 hours of setup. I want like the best USB mic where I plug in the mic and the mic's better than this one. That would be nice. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want a mic that it takes 12 hours to set up and we need a different room and we have to do some acoustic testing. I just want to plug in the mic, but I want it to be better than this one. Yeah. Etc. Right. Well, we want to have a better one. That's why we don't like this one. So there you go. Yeah, again, you guys keep talking to me like Tomato Cup. Don't tell me anything. Tell Karen. I'm the pretty face. She's the brains. Yeah. All right. 11 hours is okay. Yeah. Mike is fine. Ugh, horrible. All right. Anyway, yeah, better mic, USB, Papa John's. Kale gets it. Kale, rock and roll. All right. So let's play a couple of 1-minute games with some reasonable players before we start. No, we don't care how much it costs. Yeah. Mm. Mm. All right, nobody wants to play. I've been challenging 1 minute forever in the ether, and nobody's playing 1 minute. I guess I'll play you guys. All right. I wanted to play somebody like my own rated, but all right. I guess I'll play somebody 1,500 points lower since I'm not elitist at this very moment. I guess when the stream starts. Maybe he won't see his knights hanging. Maybe he won't see he's in check. Maybe he won't see my d-pawns hanging. You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen bishop takes g7. Let me go back. So I played d5. So I have bishop takes g7 here. Here I could take on d7, have bishop takes g7. And now when I finally saw it, he played f6. It was worth it not taking it because I made him play f6. And I have connect 4. Oh, that's a good move. I don't have connect 4 anymore. I didn't mean to do that. I was just showing the square. All right. Anyway, I'd rather have him play f6 than win all of his pieces. Yeah, that way you guys get to put the emote there. I guess I can't play bishop f5 and win his queen because his knight's here. All right. I will play bishop f5 and win his queen, but it's going to take a minute. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Good. Let's see. How do I play bishop f5 and win his queen? Probably not going to hang his knight. He might play knight d4. That makes it really hard that makes it really difficult to play bishop f5 winning his queen. Let's see. A little penetration. Hope Karen doesn't mind. Always retreat, setting up for the next game. Take the queen. Take on f6. Take everything. Rawr, Papa John's. Yay, that's not going to say I played well because I didn't play bishop g7 twice. All right, what are you guys saying? No trains yet? No. Let's see. f6. Never play king b1. You're banned and your children's children. Let's see. That's right. Yay, 101 centidues. Thanks, Kif. Is this Finland? Yay. I'm not as dumb as everybody said. Or best testing indicated. My system I found was very boring, so I don't like it personally. I'm not really a fan of chess books. I think if you want to get good at chess, you should play a lot of chess. But that's me personally. And obviously, you can use stuff on the internet to get better. So you don't really need books anymore. Books are sort of passé for chess. Books are more for fun. So, like, for example, the book that we recommend, this Stuart Rachel's book, that's, his, like, life experiences and his times in chess and stuff. But, I mean, for learning, you can learn, like, a lot of different ways. Don't really need a book for that. I mean, it used to be it wasn't like that because, the internet didn't exist and engines didn't exist and computers and stuff, but now everything exists. So, yeah. And so forth. 0 mistakes, 0 blunders. I wonder how I played that game. I thought I played well, especially since I was talking to you guys. Right, I like books that are fun, like, any tall book, obviously, like Tall Botvinnik. But there's an Andy, I played 98.7, and he played 15. I thought I played well that game. 98.7 is pretty good. And then there's a book called, what's it called? It's the Andy Soltis book. It has Grandmaster in the title. I forget, what am I, old? I guess so. What's the name of that book? Huh. I don't know. Yeah, what's the Soltis book that has the word Grandmaster in the title? Soltis has a lot of books. So, let's see. Andy Soltis book. Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster. I remembered it as I was typing. Yeah, that's a very good book. You're not going to learn anything from it. It's just for fun. Yeah, Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster. I really like that book. I don't really like Soltis's books because they're terrible, but that's a good book. Rufus Blunder subscribed. Yeah. Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster. What's this error about? Normally when you get that error, that's because you haven't played enough games on chess.com to play a title player. That's usually what it is. Chess.com has a rule that if you've played less than 40 or 50, I don't know what the number is, you can't challenge a title player. Right. Maybe you've played 200 games rated at a different time control than the one you're challenging me at. It has to be, I think, in the time control you're challenging me. That's a chess.com rule. That's not my rule. The point of that, a lot of people, as you've seen the last few days, like to bother grandmasters. And obviously, throughout history, they like to bother women. But they also like to bother famous people. So what people did on chess.com before this rule is they would make a new account and then they would harass IM or GM or FM, I guess. Play me. I still get that, but play me. And then, you block them or something or whatever. You ignore them. Then they get another account and do it. So if you want to play a title player and you want to challenge all the title players and, harass them, you have to actually have played some chess on the server before you start harassing people. So that was their decision to do that. Probably a good decision. It doesn't really stop women from getting harassed, but it stops title players from getting harassed, more than they do. I still get that every day. I've never played a grandmaster. Please play me. I get a lot of people who message me, can you give me lessons? I need lessons here. Can we meet every day? They don't want to pay. They just want lessons. And then I get that all the time. And I'm sure grandmasters who are better than me, which is most of them, get that even more often. I'm sure Hikaru every day, 20,000 times a day gets, play me, would you play me? Why aren't you playing me? What openings do you recommend for me? Kidding me? I'm pretty elitist. No, I don't do any lessons. Yeah. I just stream. I stream 24 hours a day and I drink Perrier a lot. That's about it. And then I have to answer all the idiots on the internet who don't know anything about anything. So obviously in the chess world, I've taught and helped more beginning and intermediate players than probably any grandmaster in the world. I've made more videos. I've streamed more. I've given more private lessons. I've taught more chess camps. My wife and I started a chess center with our own money. And we have classes here, and we have free play, and we have tournaments. So obviously I've done more for chess for basically everybody than almost any grandmaster in the world. And to call me an elitist is just such a joke. So, I mean, obviously it's the idiots who are little kids on the internet, who watch, whatever that guy's name is. But still, that some of the adults are tricked. They're like, oh, Ben's an elitist because I saw the word elitist without knowing anything about it. And what a lot of people don't realize, the people who are complaining, is that there is a world outside the internet. For them, that's the only world that they know. So obviously everybody knows everybody. But I mean, in the world of chess, if you take chess camps, private lessons, group lessons, the U.S. Chess School, the World Team Championship, the World Youth Championship, the World Cadet Championship, free classes, camps all over I mean, I've taught thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and I've brought many more into the game. And obviously we want more chess players. So, obviously I was complaining about a money grab, not bringing new players into the game. So anyway, people on the internet are pretty stupid, but this brought out the stupidest of the stupid. So the average person on the internet, you know who they are. These were like the lowest level of terribleness. Anyway, they started, yay. I don't know if I should analyze these games. These players are pretty elite. Okay, so in Carlsen Nakamura, Carlsen's white the first game. And I have to change the scene. Live chess, is that right? No, that's not right. Analysis, that's right. I'm old, I can't fix the scene. Okay, so Magnus is white. Now, the Scotch was played a lot in the 1800s, and then nobody played it. Now, let's see about you guys in the chat. This is the semifinals, as it says in the thing. Which world championship match played in the last 30 years resurrected the Scotch as a viable opening for white? Basically, between 1900 and 1980, the top players in the world didn't play the Scotch. Now they play it all the time. Which match brought that back? That's right. It was Kasparov-Karpov. Kasparov played the Scotch, and then he played it again. And they were like, what? Nobody plays the Scotch. And then everybody started playing the Scotch. So between like 1990 and now, the Scotch is played all the time. But between 1900 and 1980, the top players in the world didn't play the Scotch. Now, between 1840 and 1890, there were a lot of Scotches. And then people were like, let's play the Ruy Lopez. So it's funny how chess went in reverse. It was the Scotch and the Italian game and those gambits. Then it was just Ruy Lopez. Just Ruy Lopez. Now, I don't know what's more common than Ruy Lopez or the Italian game. Let's start playing Bishop C4 again. Okay, so most grandmasters play Knight F6. Personally, I play Bishop C5. I guess that's what I learned. I don't know. And Hikaru played Bishop C5. So that's the move that I know. You can play Knight B3, which is the old move, and then Carlsen resurrected it. Carlsen started playing Knight B3. And then Knight takes C6 and Bishop E3 are the normal moves. Magnus has played Knight B3 several times. So he played Knight C6, which probably surprised Hikaru a little because Magnus usually plays Knight B3. Queen F6 is the main move, threatening mate. You can play Queen D2 or Queen F3. You can play either one. Queen F3 is probably more common. Probably. You can actually take anything here. D6 is the most common. All right. And we have this ending where white's a little bit better, but not much. A little bit better. Not much better. All right. And this looks like it's Magnus's prep. since he has more time than he started with. And obviously Hikaru didn't expect knight takes c6 and queen f3 because Magnus doesn't do that. So, and it looks like Magnus is sacrificing a pawn, but the engine, after taking, doesn't play queen takes. So there's some tactical trick that I'm missing. I just don't know what it is. But I'm definitely missing it. Let's see. Fries. No, it's not fries. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what I missed. No, I saw that. Okay, so I missed nothing. It says bishop here, queen takes, f6, and white's better, even though white's a pawn down. And white has horrible pawn structure. White's still better. Rook g1, because white has the two bishops, and black is, hasn't moved yet. Now, white's not winning, but white's slightly better. That might happen, because, there's no win for white. Okay, and so Hikaru's thinking about that. Now we got Dubov and Ding. Dubov playing his own opening as usual. Knight f6 is more common here. And then white can play either f4 or bishop c4. So already we have a very unusual position at the top level. All right, and this is by transposition. We've seen this before. Yeah. Bishop b3 is okay. I've had black in this position. All right. Now, Nikola Mitkov, who's a grandmaster from Macedonia, who usually lives in the U.S. Maybe I don't know where he is now. When he plays this with white, he plays this with white all the time. All the time. He likes to put his knight on e2 and play knight g3 and get control of f5, queen f3, bishop g5. He doesn't play knight f3. That's why you delay knight f3. So you can play either knight e2 or you can play f4. Otherwise, you play knight f3 on move 2. And so what Dubov's doing is unusual, just play knight f3. Because black has the two bishops and black's like really solid, and white can't play f4. White can't play knight g3 to f5. So this didn't really give white any advantage. Dubov yesterday, when asked who he preferred to play, Ding or you, because they were playing, he said, I'd probably rather play Magnus because I always lose to the Chinese players. He's like, I always lose to them. So Dubov was very negative about what was going to happen today and the next couple of days. He said he has really bad results against all Chinese players. He actually has a reasonable score against Magnus. So, all right, let's go back and see who's mad at me. Inappropriate Joker subscribed. Good. I prefer bourbon to scotch. The head of the St. Louis Chess Club, the executive director, Tony Rich, he agrees. Let's see. Queen f6. Bourbon's too sweet. The biggest flaw of Carlsen is the way you spell his name. Looking forward to Faruja, Saren, or Kamer, or whomever resurrecting the King's Gambit. Yeah, it's not going to be them. It's hard to resurrect the King's Gambit. God damn. What tournament is this? It's in the title of this stream, Lindores Abbey. It's an online tournament sponsored and organized by Chess24 and Magnus. It's part of the Magnus Tour, several tournaments with $1 million prize fund total. This tournament in particular has $150,000 in prizes. Yeah, what happened with Hikaru's chat was people from the XQC stream go there now, and I don't understand the culture of what they do. Wow, wait, what happened? Wait, I have to stop what I'm saying. What's going on? This was a huge raid. Is that what it said? Or did I imagine that? Decreed Gaming is now hosting me for 454 viewers. Thanks to Creed Gaming. What does Decreed Gaming do? What are you streaming? That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the raid. Or host. Whatever you did, thanks. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Right. So I don't understand the Twitch chat of XQC and they go to Naka now and other people. I don't understand the culture of spamming the chat with non-English things that you can't read it. So, like, if you could read it, I wouldn't want to read it. But you can't read it. Like, they could be writing the greatest poetry and novels of our time, but it just scrolls so you wouldn't know. I mean, they're not doing that. But what's the point of the chat if you can't read the chat? Why is the chat there? So it's weird. Yeah, it's strange. So what you have to do, if you're like a huge chess fan and you really want to look at the chess and you're like really excited about it, is you have to turn the chat off, because that's just scrolling nonsense. I don't understand it. I mean, it's good to have a lot of viewers, but I don't understand the chat thing. I don't get it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but like, I don't, like, why, what, but, no, I mean, if I ever have 20,000 viewers, which I won't, I'm not going to let the chat spam. I'm going to change all the settings so it looks like this. It's in English and some of it's about chess, not a lot of it. And I can read it. Yeah, that's part of the stream, is reading the chat. When I don't read the chat, you guys get mad. So, yeah. GDQ spam. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Now, of course, if you want to see chess commentary, just watch the chess commentary. Don't read the chat. It's fine. On this stream, you could actually ask questions, and I'll answer them usually, or ignore them. Somebody will answer them. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm not sure if I want to delete you. I'm not sure if you're insulting me or not. That is what scares and frightens you. I don't know. I guess I'll ban you. All right. It seemed insulting, but I wasn't sure. It's weird. Sometimes people aren't insulting me, but it's really insulting, or vice versa. So I'm sitting here confused. All right. Peter's Fiddler's mic is very good. All right. Yeah. All right, King's Gambit. The top players don't like the King's Gambit. Okay, so I don't like what Dubov is doing. I think if he wants to play the Vienna, he shouldn't play knight f3 so early. Okay, so this, Dingler in is playing more aggressively than Dubov. Now this move is very risky because of bishop g5. So, like in the Ruy Lopez, when you're white and you want to play d4, you play h3 first. So if black wants to play d5, it's safer to play h6 first. But I guess Dingler wasn't concerned about that. Okay, so white played there, which is the scary move. Now, you got some issues here. So he took the knight, which is the safest. Takes. And he took this. Now, it seems to me, if you take back, that's just bad. I trade queens and play knight e4. So knight e5 is forced. Okay. Now, this looks pretty equal. However, it's probably better for white. The engine likes white a lot. White's rook is better than black's rook. Its pawn's attacked. Its knight's pinned. I have two pieces out. You have one piece out and it's pinned. So probably, like in my opinion, d5 was a little too much. He could have just played really boring, but he decided to play interesting, which is what Dubov likes. But Ding doesn't mind. So white's better here, but I think d5 was a little too much. But that's my opinion. Okay, and then in Carlsen's game, Naka didn't take on c3. He took on f3 and just played sort of, normal stuff. Now, this is an isolated pawn, so white wants to trade it off or advance it and stop black from using those squares. So he plays h4. So double pawns here, isolated pawn here. That's the bad news. Nice open file. And the double pawns are the center pawns, and Bent Larson said that's better. So, like, And the Bronstein-Larsen variation of the Caro-Kann, for example, I'm sure it's your favorite. Okay, this is what Larsen used to play a lot, and Bronstein played occasionally. Even though it's double pawns, this is the same pawn structure Magnus has, these 3 pawns. And eventually you push your pawns in the center. You have a lot of pawns. Play e5 and they take it. I got 2 pawns, 1 for each of you. So this pawn structure with the open G file, it looks like Magnus's pawn structure, except Magnus's pawn is already here, which you can't necessarily do in the Caro-Kann. Yeah. So, and you can see that white has that pawn structure, but the pawn's not here. It's the same. So that's not necessarily bad because we have a lot of pawns. And you can see the inverse in the Nimzo Indian when black takes and white takes with a pawn, and we have these 3 pawns. So we have 2 C pawns and a D pawn. Now we have 2 F pawns and an E pawn, which is the same thing on their side of the board. And you're like, double pawns? No. When I used to teach chess, I would tell my students, double pawns aren't bad, but you were taught double pawns are bad, so you're like really worried about it. Double pawns can be bad. It's possible, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. Black's got double pawns, white's got double pawns. And if they're in the center especially, you can have more center pawns. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Simpsons reference. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. You guys can delete or not delete stuff. Man, Rosen got hammered. Not Rosen. Kavutsky got hammered for that video. Man, they hate the gawking rebel on the internet that hates me hates him too. So that's good. Everybody's hated. Hooray. Yeah, I don't understand that either, the head of the Twitch chat spammer. Because I could understand if I spam the chat like once and then I never do it again. I actually have an analogous situation that I can never talk about ever. But it's not happened either. But like some things in life you want to do once and that's it. But anyway, so the people who are the Twitch chat spammers, that's all they do. It's the same people and they spam the chat. And then it's like the alarm goes off at 8:30. They have some coffee. They, take a shower, dress. They get to their computer at 9 and they spam the chat. And then at 5 o'clock, they're like, all right, I guess I got to go home. I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't know like why they would want to do that. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Who dares call me? Don't you know I'm streaming? I'm always streaming. Okay, so, all right. That won't happen on this channel because if we ever get 1 million people spamming, they'll be banned and we'll change the settings so people can't talk anymore. All right, so he played h4 and then he gave him double pawns again. Double pawns here, isolated pawn, isolated pawn. So white has the worst pawn structure ever, but white has the 2 bishops. And this isn't really that bad. This is just, these pawns can advance. So I would think it's equal, but the engine still likes white a little bit because 2 bishops. Okay, so Naka plays rook d8, and they traded, as in the game Feingold Fischer. My dad played rook d8, and they traded, and then again rook d8, they traded. I'm not saying they're going to trade the other rooks. Basically, white wants all the pieces on the board, because white wants dynamism and attacking potential and double-edgedness, and black wants trade. Ah ha ha, your pawn structure is terrible. Pawn structure being terrible is more important in the end game than the opening and middle game. Opening and middle game, you take all the guy's pieces and mate him. In the end game, you're like, aha, your pawn structure is bad. So that's why Hikaru played rook d8. Okay, and Hikaru played f5. And c4, which is explosive, and rook f8. All right. And the engine still likes white. It's funny, even though these pawns are stupid, it's still hard for Hikaru to get a pawn majority here, like to the 4-3. This 4-3, though, you could see that white could potentially get a passed pawn. You could argue this is a passed pawn. So Yeah, white has two bishops. White's rook has this open file, this open file. This bishop's really good. So white's better. Okay, and also, as is typical with the good Magnus, sometimes the good Magnus shows up, sometimes the good Magnus doesn't show up. He has a lot more time on his clock. That's actually how you know which Magnus you're getting. If it's moved 20, 25, and Magnus has less time, it's not the good Magnus. If he has a lot more time, that's the good Magnus. The good Magnus plays faster than the bad Magnus. It's weird. When Magnus is playing really fast, that's when he's playing good. That's when he's really confident, understands the position. Yeah, Carlo's like that too. Let's see. Yes, I've heard that. Let's see. When Magnus and Naka and Geary and Svidler and all those guys talk crap, it's not personal. They're just being silly. Yeah. How about why doesn't he take the A pawn? Well, I assume you mean before C4. Yeah. If you ever take the A pawn, which you can do, I'll play C4 and then I'm threatening King B2, winning your bishop. If you play B5, I take it. So you've gotten rid of all of my bad pawns. So that's strategically incorrect. Whenever you play on the side of the board, you're risking getting your pieces trapped or captured. All right. So he played there, and then he played A4. Yeah, he's just gaining space on the queen's side. He has more space on the center and king's side. He has the two bishops. His rook is better than Naka's rook. Naka's rook is passive. So white's better. And Magnus likes to have better endgames. Not winning, but better. And then squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. So this is a Magnus kind of position. Magnus has the two bishops. Magnus has a better endgame. Magnus has more time. That's very Magnus-like when he's playing well. All right. And Dubov played bishop h4, put it in h. Rook a5. Good. g5. God damn. Yeah, when you play g5, something's usually gone wrong. Bishop h7. F4 is an excellent move. Wow. What a great move. Man, Dubov's good. Yeah. So yeah, this is terrible for black. Black's king is exposed. He doesn't have active major pieces. This knight on e5 is a monster. White's rooks are getting into the game pretty quickly. The engine says black is losing here. Yeah, it says knight g4 is completely winning. It says after knight g4 that black can resign. Knight g4 threatens rook takes knight, and then knight f6 check. It threatens knight takes h6 check. Knight g4 is a really nice computer move. Queen h5 is a human move. That's the move like I would play, because he moved his knight away. And then it says white's +2. After here, white's +3.5. I wouldn't play that because I wouldn't see it, but I would see that. So this move is very good for white, and this move is completely winning. There's no defense. You're threatening knight h6 check, and you're threatening rook takes knight. So this just wins. If he sees it. Obviously, Ding didn't see it, because he would have played knight d5 if he saw it. Anyway, white's just really attacking black. d5 I didn't like. g5 I don't like. God, g5, Jesus. Yeah. I play g5 when it wins material, not because, I better play g5. Very dangerous. All right, back to whatever it is these guys were doing. Okay, he played a4, a6. Magnus played a5, g6. The engine doesn't like g6 very much. It wanted to play c5, a move I would never consider since white can take it. But I guess it wants to go take this pawn. I don't know. I would never consider that move. Okay, he played g6. And again, the engine says white's doing great. White has pressure here. White has two bishops. White has more space everywhere. Black is just defending. White has 3 minutes extra. Very Magnus-like. A very Magnus-like performance. Is slowly outplaying his opponent, getting tiny advantages, getting a big time advantage. This is the good Magnus this game. All right, he played the human move, as I expected, because he's a human. And then c6 attacks the rook and defends the knight more. And the engine says knight g4 is the engine move, sacrificing the rook because there's a mating attack. And the human move is rook a1. And then white has winning advantage anyway because you can see white's all over black here. Yeah, and this rook's never going to get in the game. So they're playing on a real board. Ding would never move that rook. Let's keep it set up for the next game. But knight g4 is the engine move. But that's, for a human, that's very hard to play. To, not to, yeah, he's played rook a1. Yeah. Etc. Let's see. What was the chat saying? I don't know. Saying a lot of stuff. All right. 712 viewers adieu. Hi, viewers adieu. I guess hi there. Yeah, you're the camera. All right, Ding-Loren's in a lot of trouble, and Nakamura's much worse. But I wouldn't say he's losing. He's just, it's a passive, unfortunate position. Also, probably psychologically not good for Naka to lose to Wesley So. And then Naka's like, damn, I lost to Wesley So, now I got to play Carlsen. And Carlsen's like, oh, So beat him. Man, I could really beat him. If Naka had crushed So, then Naka's like, all right, where's Carlsen? And Carlsen's like, he crushed So. So last night's match wasn't good for Naka. He got turned around today, but so far, not great. Okay, Naka defended with rook f6, more defense. Magnus took. The engine agrees. And you could take all three ways. They're all possible. Knight takes would shock me, but you could play knight takes. I guess it wouldn't shock me. Okay, took with a rook. Again, Hikaru wants to trade all the pieces off and all the pawns off. Then it's a draw. So you got to trade everything off. For some reason, c5 is really strong. It's totally stopping the pawn majority. And then opening up the line for the bishop later. Bishop d3 is the human move. And Magnus plays the engine move, c5. Yeah, these pawns just can't move. So these two pawns stop these four pawns. And then, Magnus has this huge 3-1 majority here, which he wants to advance later. All right, so big advantage for Magnus and a big time advantage. Big advantage for Dubov and a small time advantage. Yeah, Magnus is good. He didn't become world champion because he was lucky. Or did he? Actually, he did. The reason Magnus first became world champion, before he was world champion, he played in the candidates tournament, and the winner of the candidates tournament played Anand. And in the last round, Magnus lost with white to Peter's Fiddler. God damn. And then he wasn't too happy about that. And Ivanchuk was playing Kramnik, and if Kramnik won, then Kramnik played Anand, and Magnus is out. And Kramnik lost to Ivanchuk. And Ivanchuk was having a bad tournament, and that let Carlsen play Anand. So he was a little lucky to play him because he lost the last round and thought he was out, but Ivanchuk hooked him up. So he really has Ivanchuk to thank for winning the candidates that year. That was funny. All right, Ding-Loren hasn't moved in 2 minutes because, Ding-Loren's position sucks. So, man. Yeah, my seat's always sinking. I probably need a new chair. Probably should get that too. Like one of those crazy, stupid streamer chairs that are unnecessary. That sounds good. Yeah. All right, what's going on here? King e8, setting up for the next game. Bishop d3 is good. Magnus plays this super accurate bishop takes g5. Excellent. Great move. Bishop takes g5. Hikaru puts it in h, and then king d2. And Magnus is playing virtually perfect this game. which doesn't mean he'll win, but he has an advantage. I actually like this chair, but it was really cheap, and it's not working anymore. Feels nice. Obviously, there's better chairs. Mm-hmm. King F8's a weird move to me. Okay, the engine says King F8 is okay. I mean, I'd probably go to F7 rather than F8, but I don't know. All right. Yeah, I don't understand why he played here than here. I don't know. I got nothing. I can't explain it. It's very slightly possible this was a mouse slip. He meant to go here. It's also possible I don't understand. Either one's likely. I wouldn't say Magnus is crushing Hikaru, but Magnus has a big advantage. You know, obviously, if two supercomputers were playing, probably White would win. I'm sure Magnus is happy he's 3 minutes ahead on the clock. So that's good too. C6. Okay, so he played F6. Never play F6. The engine doesn't like the move F6. Forcing the knight to go to a better square. And White's just winning. White's going to be a pawn up with a nice attack. Queen H6 is the obvious move, and he also has a 2-minute time advantage. So it's looking good for the white pieces again. White's probably winning both games. Probably. F takes G is a very good move. Queen H3 is a good move. D takes E4 is okay. In all situations, White's winning. F4 was a really nice move by Dubov. And let's see. Magnus has been thinking for about a minute and a half here. He can move his king up still. I don't understand why these are the engine moves also. Like this move I understand. I don't understand these moves. Yeah, it could have been Hikaru intentionally did this because he didn't see a good move here for White, and he didn't see a good move here for Black. So he's just like, all right, I'll let White get on move. It's possible. All right, and Dubov played FG. Yeah, this is a tough position for Black. I don't know what to suggest. His time situation is not very good either. Down a pawn. He can't move his rook off of A8. This pawn's attacked. I'm going to play C4, which is explosive. Get the diamond formation. And Ding resigned here. The engine says White's up 3.5. Not sure I would resign. But okay, he resigned. I don't understand why he can't play FG. And the engine does not play FG. It's not a move. So I'm gonna find out why. I don't know why. Bishop E5. Oh, you can't play queen takes queen because of checkmate. Damn. Yeah, that's not good. This position's not good. Jesus. Yeah, it's +5, it says, for White. Yeah, like, if you can't take the queen, then it's going to sit there. Then I can saunter my queen back and play knight here. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, he actually resigned here after FG. Really nice game from Dubov. I really like F4. I don't like D5, but I really don't like G5. He really punished G5 when he played F4. So very nice game from Dubov. Dubov wins a lot. Did you notice that? Yeah. And he didn't do well in the preliminaries. He came in 7th out of the 8 people who qualified. Dubov did like 50%. Then in the matches, he's killing Karyakin. He crushed Ding this game, etc. All right. Back to whatever it is I was doing. Magnus still hasn't moved. He's been thinking for 3 minutes here. The engine really hates that move. It says White may be still winning, but it doesn't like it. Okay, but we should trust Magnus. Again, I'm not sure what White was supposed to do. I mean, black can just sit here. So I think he had to do this eventually. So that's, I mean, I don't see that. I don't think it's that bad. Okay, e5. So Magnus thinks this is winning. I mean, I want to play king here and take. He could play h4 if I play king here. Okay. So I don't know if this is even worth a threat. I guess if he plays king f4 and puts his bishop on h3, he wants black to get into zugzwang. Because I can play king here, but I could play king h6. Takes h4, e6, king g7. So maybe king f6, h3, we both queen. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I mean, black could just move his bishop back and forth. So I'm not sure how white wins. I don't know how white wins. We'll find out. I don't know how. Magnus is playing fast, so he's got something up his sleeve. I guess he can play bishop e2 and run his king over and take this pawn. But, I mean, black can play b6 and get counterplay. That's not going to work. If you play, well, he thinks it's going to work by doing this. But I think black can get counterplay over here. b6 and get a passed a pawn. Something. I don't know about this idea. I mean, once I go here, I can push pawns. Yeah, the engine wants to do like what I said. If white's doing this, and then start getting some counterplay. Could play b6 here. He did play b6. Yeah. Well, okay, white's much better. White has this protected passed pawn. White can win this pawn whenever he wants. And if black doesn't win over here, then white's going to win. So the only way to try to win is to take this. If he plays c takes b6, I play a5, and then that counterplay is going to draw. This is the only way to try to win. I think this should be a draw. The engine likes white a lot. Actually, after this, black's better after a5. So Magnus took. Hikaru can play b5 or bc. I'm not sure which one he's going to play. I mean, Magnus's big advantage here is he has an extra minute. So I'd rather have 2 minutes than one here. Okay, so he trapped Magnus's bishop. Magnus doesn't care. The engine doesn't win the bishop with king c7 to be it to a7, although I'm not sure why. I don't know if this is winning for white. It might be. Okay, well, now we're going to find out. Okay, that's what Hikaru is doing. Hikaru decided, the engine doesn't like this, says white's completely winning, but Hikaru decided if he doesn't do this, he's going to lose. He doesn't know if he's losing, so he's doing that. I think he's right. I think if he doesn't do this, he loses. So he might as well win a bishop. Yeah. Yeah, the engine thinks white's winning. Well, now the engine really thinks white's winning. So, yeah. Bishop takes b5 actually loses. That actually helps black. Because his king can go to b7. He can take all these pawns. Here the king has lose a tempo to do that. King g5 wins. Otherwise, he's losing. That's funny. One move wins. Every move loses. After bishop g8, Magnus has to play c3. Because if he takes this, bishop check and bishop takes pawn and his pawn queens. c3 is the only winning move after bishop g8. Which is funny. Let's see, what happened? Yeah. I think there's going to be like 10 moves coming in a row now, and I'll have to go back. Sorry. It's being played on Lee Chess, not here. They're just getting the moves from the PGN file. So white's winning, But after bishop g8, it's to play c3, which is funny. Because they can't allow you to play bishop d5. King takes is the easiest win. e6 also is an easy win. c3 is an easy win, which surprises me. Yeah, I mean, obviously these pawns are better than the bishop. The king and the pawns just roll in. That was a pretty Magnus-like game. Slightly better, clearly better for a long time, and then finally winning. And having a time advantage the whole game also, which helped. Behind me, that's me. I'm behind me. And then on the right and left are Ifan and Ju Wenjun. Yeah. Pig with a hat, you're thinking of Steinitz von Bardeleben, Hastings 1895. If you can hear me. Yeah. Maybe you can't hear me. All right. So he played c3. That way b4 could never be played and he can't get in trouble. See, Magnus is worried b4, bishop here, bishop here, bishop here, and black wins. So he's making sure that never happens. That's the safest move. Yeah, and now he wins without black having counterplay. And then pawn here, king here, and so forth. Mainly, and so forth. You have to keep the bishop on this diagonal. If you keep the bishop anywhere else, like here, 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 I play f7 and then king here. I'm sorry, f7, then e7, then king here. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you go here. f7, e7, take here. And then I queen. So you have to keep the bishop here to stop that. Okay, but now Magnus wins by playing e7. Now you can't play bishop here because of f7 check. If I take this, I win. And if you play bishop here, I play f7 and king here. So you can't, there's nothing you can do. So e7 wins because you can't stop all three of those things. All right, and after e7, you really want to play bishop here, but then f7 and king here wins. You want to play bishop here, but then f7 wins. So he just made random move, and then now there's a lot of pass pawns. All right, and then he resigned here. Very nice game from Magnus. Very nice game from Dubov. So white won both games. Dubov's up 1-0. Magnus is up 1-0. Now, a lot of you don't know the format of the tournament because nobody does. They're playing a 4-game match today. It'll be a 3-game match if it's 3-0, 2.5. And then tomorrow, they play another 4-game match. And if somebody wins both matches, they go to the finals. If it's 1-1, they play a third match on Saturday. So they're going to be 4 games today in each match, or 3 or 5, depending on the score. If it's 2-2, there'll be a 5th game. If it's 2.5, half, or 3-0, it's only 3 games. And then tomorrow's the same. And then if it's 1-1 in matches, they play another one. So there's a lot of chess. Chess everywhere. Etc. Yeah. Random students. How many rounds are going to be played? Well, it depends on your definition of rounds. There's going to be 3, 4, or 5 games in each match. First person to get 2.5. Yeah, Magnus played well. Yep. You know Magnus is playing well when he's slightly better it's sort of boring and he has more time, then he's playing well. If he has less time and you're like, I don't understand this position, then that's not how, that's Magnus doesn't like that. Man, tough stream. No donations, no bits, no subs. Man, I've only been streaming for 45 minutes. I guess that's okay. Friend request, enemy request. Your car's been towed. You have 30 minutes to move your car. Your car has been crushed into a cube. You have 30 minutes to move your cube. Damn. I don't think I can leave, though, so I don't know what to do. Darn. Let's see. Not too interesting. All right. Is it about my cube? Exactly. Yeah. Nice Simpsons reference. That's correct. Hey, Julian. No, your sub ends today. Oops. Let me push that button. All right. Well, I guess I'll play 1 minute or faster unrated until the next game starts. You guys can challenge me 1 minute or faster unrated. Yay, Kale gifted subs. Hooray. 1 sub. Somebody else subbed. 1 more sub or 100 cents to do, and we have a train, our first train. All we need is $1. Can we do it? Thanks, MACIGZ. Hooray. I agree. I want a sub. I want a sub too. Sub tastes good. Another train from Southerly Elf 622. My opponent's rating exactly 1,000. Never play F6. 300 centidues from Pinky Jim. Wait, don't leave. I want to accept these friend requests. I better refresh. That didn't do it? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, that only cost me 25 seconds. Go level 2 without a pass. I gifted the dude a sub. He better not cheat. He's not cheating, trust me. 104 centidues. Jim 202-207 gifted a sub. Yay. Oh, it's my turn? Connect 4. Not really paying attention to whose turn it is. I might lose on time doing that. I could take this. I didn't expect him to hang his queen. Could take it my bishop. I'm the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Yeah, I didn't play too well that game. 3 mistakes, 1 blunder. I was never in trouble? Even when he could take that, I wasn't in trouble? I don't know. I might have been in trouble there. Yeah. Playing like Magnus, except for one thing. All my moves are blunders. All my shootings be drive-bys. You're down with entropy. Yeah, you know me. (1920s). Is it the Netherlands or France? I always get confused. France. I've heard of France. A donation? What the hell? $2. Unban me. It was a joke. I don't even remember banning you. What did I do? Latrec 404. Somebody unban them. It was they gave me $2. $2 gets you unbanned. And your children's children. Never play F6. Never. I do like taking all of his pawns, though. Yeah, I guess I'm getting mated. Oh, well. Truth hurts. Maybe if I get a queen, I'll feel better about getting mated. Probably. I don't know. Take here. I don't know. No time on my clock. I gotta have time. And he just takes that. 12 seconds. That's not good. Hanging mate was bad. Yeah, I didn't play well that game. I played slow and bad. I should feel bad. 4 mistakes, 7 blunders, 1 missed win. 1 missed win. What does that mean? I'd mate? All right, let's see. Is there a game going on? It is. Too late. I should have looked at this game before this one. All right. Actually, I should keep that other game up, I guess, so you guys have a better view. I'll just put this other game on. All right. Now you have a good view. All right, Ding versus Dubov. Ding lost the first game. You guys can see now, let me say. 500 centidues, yay. Why can't you guys see? I don't get it. Confused, like the what's going on? Oh, I have it on live chess. That's what's going on. Yeah, I was just playing chess. That's why I have it on live chess. Okay, Ding-Laren's, thanks, Pinky Jim. Ding-Laren's white against Dubov. All right, I play this with black. $3. Save the Hastings International Chess Congress from Brussels Picker. All right. I play this with black, so I know it's not good. 200 centidues. Okay, I play bishop g4 here. I've never played b5. I know b5 was a move. All right. Yeah, this doesn't seem good for black. It seems terrible. And I should know. I play with black a lot. Yeah, this is terrible for black. Yeah, I play this line with black, but it's not good. I think you have to play the semi-slot when they play e3. I think bishop f5 is bad and g6 is bad. I play g6. MVL plays bishop f5. They're all terrible. Let's see. Hype train, level 3. Cry like a grandmaster. We don't see the A column. Barely a GM. Let's see. Brownie with ice cream. Let's see. Stream like a grandmaster. Keep only one tab open. Terrible. Crowd has rights. Man, 199 centidues from Radio City Ghost. I missed it. I was too busy losing. All right. And Karen said something. Karen, she was a long time ago. She said, Ifan is in college so busy. Yeah. Eric Rosen makes Ben Feingold reference. Well, Ben Rosen makes Eric Rosen references. What? Randall 884 gave 100 centidues. I think I missed that. All right, let's get off level 3. There we go. EADG Heinz. Go Ben, etc. All right, trading, queen b8. These are the terrible positions I always have with black. Good, good. All right, so black's position is very bad because it's very passive, and the bishop's really bad. That's why I play bishop g4 and trade it off. Then they have the 2 bishops. What else? White has a better center. This bishop's terrible. This pawn's backwards. Papa John's. Is Dubov the strongest Russian player? Maybe. Yeah. Which way should I go? 94. What's my favorite vegan dish? The dish that I'm eating. What about Grishuk? What about Grishuk? Don't you want someone to get in time trouble? What about Grishuk? All right, let's see if Magnus is started with Naka, and the answer is fries. All right. Naka's white. It's fake Berlin. Good, good. I don't remember Carlsen ever playing Bishop G4. Bishop G4 has a bad reputation. Is that Joan Jett? Does she have a bad reputation? Is that a Joan Jett song? Oh, you guys know. I don't know. It is? Okay. Who wrote the preamble? Let's see. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know. Jefferson, Hamilton. Didn't they hate each other? Something. What music do I listen to? Good music. Lafayette. Wasn't he friends with Benjamin Franklin? Weren't they like, that son? No, it ended. Boo. Such strong support. Not great support. 5 subs, 7. That's better than before. All right, the chat is a little shallow and pedantic right now. I don't like this line. Obviously, it's Magnus's prep, but I don't like the bishop over here. All right, and then e5. It's good if you can do it. Bam! I mean, this is so bad, this bishop. Such a bad position. All right, white's better. This is a backward pawn. This is a terrible bishop. White has more pawns in the center. So advantage to white. I like white here also. I don't like this bishop on h5. It's just trapped here forever. He's going to play knight d7, f6, bishop f7. He could have put his bishop on e6 and got the same thing accomplished. Not really sure what a3 is all about, but all right, I guess he wants to play b4. Knight d7, making sure the pawn's defended. Usually the queen goes here, f6, long castle, the knight goes to e6, the bishop goes to f7. This bishop usually drops back here or here. And white has a better pawn structure, and black has 2 bishops. But yeah, I mean, Magnus prepared this, and I guess Naka's not familiar with bishop g4 to h5. Okay, Naka played g4, trapping the bishop, and b4. Very aggressive. Not really a fan of that idea, but all right. Seems weird to push on both sides of the board. It might be hard for Naka to place his king anywhere. And white played bishop c3, which makes sense. Yeah, Ding has a nice advantage against Dubov, and the other game is about equal. Ta-da. Nightbot. Let's see. Thanks to whoever gave you a sub. All right. The chat's not super interesting. 826 viewers is good. Good, good. Magnus confused by b4. I must admit, I don't usually see white playing b4 and g4, just one of them. Again, this is the good Magnus because he's playing quickly. When Magnus plays quickly, that means he's usually really sure of himself. And when he plays really slowly, he's like, I don't know, leave me alone. So whenever Magnus has 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes more in these rapid games, that's when he's playing really well. So far, so good. What opening was this? It was semi-Berlin. Like, tried to play the Berlin, but he played d3, which is the best move for white in that position. And this is in the game so far. All right, never play f6. Well, the engine says it's about equal. It's not super exciting yet. It's actually not clear if white should castle kingside, never castle, or black should do queenside or kingside. What is clear is black usually likes to put the knight on e6. Marovsky subscribed. Earn money from subscription. I don't know what that means, but all right. Lots of weird stuff is happening in my chat now. 100 centidues, thank you. Go Stuart Rachel's. Hooray. Stuart's the best. Should white castle? He could. Could play knight h4, putting it in h. That would be impossible in the previous move, but now f6 has given him the h4 square. He could play knight a5. As long as he plays on the side, that's all that matters. Okay, so Dubov took on d4. This exchange seems to help white a lot. Yeah, this is a very poor game from Dubov so far. Weak pawn, got rid of this bishop, which isn't good. He can put his knight on c5. He has the a file. Every white piece is better than every black piece. White's knight's better, white's rooks are better, white's bishop is better, white's queen is better. So a terrible position, and Ding-Dubov has a 6-minute time advantage over Dubov, which is pretty unusual. So yeah, this opening worked out very poorly for black. I've played this opening a lot with black. It's hard to play with black. The only player who plays it well is Komsky. Komsky's been playing g6 in the Slav against e3 forever, and somehow he always does okay. He's the only one who can do it. All right, so Naka plays knight f5. First he plays knight a5. He can't play b6 because this pawn's attacked, so he plays queen c8. And then he plays knight f5. So Naka played knight a5 and knight h4, and then knight f5. You guys usually can't play knight f5 because you don't have the tier 2 emotes because you're not elite enough. That's the problem. Okay, knight e6. The only move they always play. Bishop e3. And it's about equal. Naka's catching up on time. Magnus is out of his prep. Yeah, I know it gotta. Of course. All the American grandmasters know each other. 826 viewers. Hooray! It's the most viewers ever. Or, it's average, something. And Dubov played queen d6. Everything's good for white. Knight b3 is good. Going to c5. Rook a7 is good. Just defending the pawn with rook b1 is good. Every move is good. So Ding is confused. I mean, knight b3 seems like the professional move. The queen defends the b4 pawn, and then You want to go to c5 with your knight. Rook a7 is the most aggressive. Rook cb1 is like, you know, when Wesley's playing badly and he defends his pawn. Let's see. Ta-da. GM Rufus, 100 centidues. You call that a knife? And Jim spelled occurred correctly. That's pretty elite. Is queen takes h7 good for white? Did XQC get on my stream? No. Mr. Popezilla. All right, so Nakamura's basically caught up on time, and the position's about equal. And Ding has a lot more time and a lot better position. So it looks really good for Ding, and the other game is up in the air. Used Perrier, that sounds good. Okay, he played Rook a7, the most aggressive. Now, Black could play c5 if he wants to be aggressive, attacking the knight, and that hangs the b5 pawn. The bishop is attacked. Queen b8's the passive move. Could also play Rook c7, defending his bishop. Those are basically the three moves here. Queen b8, Rook c7, or c5. Dubov doesn't have a lot of time on his clock. Usually when you get in the 20s, this is move 22. If somebody has, you know, between 2.5 and 5 minute time advantage, probably they have better position. If they have more than 5 minute time advantage, usually they're winning. Okay, he played Rook b8. That's the most passive of all the moves. Now, knight b3 is the obvious move, because then the queen defends b4, and the knight controls c5. Queen g3 is a move I wouldn't have considered, but the idea is to trade queens and then hammer this pawn and hammer this. Queen g3, the engine says isn't as good as knight b3, but now that the engine told me about queen g3, I like it. I like getting rid of this queen because you can't attack this and you can't defend this. And then I just have this great, you know, Magnus Carlsen-esque endgame. So I like this move the best, but this is supposed to be a little bit better technically, but even seeing the computer, I would still go here. All right, no castling for Magnus, so Kramnik is happy. King f7, c3. It's very blocked up everywhere, so it's hard for anybody to do anything. But obviously this is advantageous to Hikaru because he has a knight that's like blocking a queen and a rook. Queen and a rook can't move for his knight. That's a good advantage for white. All right, and now Hikaru has more time. So when Magnus thinks forever and plays king f7, and then he thinks forever again, that's not the good Magnus. That's the Magnus who's like, I don't know, sits there forever, makes random move. Yeah, so first game was the good Magnus. This game isn't as good. Magnus has less time, and he's playing very wishy-washy this game. He doesn't really have a plan. He's like, I don't know, it's passive. Okay. So it's funny, instead of just castling, he played king here, rook here, king here, which is weird. He castled and took an extra move. So that was strange. Anyway, the engine likes white. It likes the knight on f5. It likes white's initiative. Black is extremely passive. Black's bishops are shallow and pedantic, obviously. The engine move is king d2, which I find funny. Put the king over here and start attacking on the king side. Seems unlikely he'll play that. Dubov has 4 minutes and a terrible position. Queen g3. He thinks like I do. I didn't see queen g3. But when the engine told me, I was like, I like queen g3. Knight e5. The engine says that's terrible. Rook c5. Queen f6 is the best move, I guess. And then h4, getting some lift. This is just terrible for black. God damn. The better you are at chess, the more you hate black's position. So black must really hate his position because he's a lot better than me. Yeah, bishop's ridiculous. White's rooks are great. White's knight is great. Black has no legal moves. It's a really bad position. And black's down 4 minutes. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, I mean, black has no plan here. Bishop f3 is coming, etc. Queen c7 is probably a threat. Looks like a threat. Yeah, I mean, Ding's going to win. Tie it up. All right, and Hikaru has a nice position. He played h5, putting it in h. The engine wants to play bishop f8 here. It really didn't like queen f3. No, queen f3 just seems like a normal move. After bishop f8, it says black is fine. I don't know why black is fine. Black can't move anything. Like, this is terrible. Well, the engine says Magnus' position is fine, but I don't like it. I like white's position. Knight f5. Never play f6. So somehow Magnus can play b6 here. I guess after knight takes, the knight's trapped. So b6 is possible. Bishop f8 is possible. h6, blocking up the king side is possible. Although that allows some sacrifices, which the engine thinks aren't good, but it's dangerous. Okay, b6. So Hikaru can't take this pawn. Even though the knight's trapped, he can protect it. So he can also retreat his knight. And Dubov is in a lot of trouble. He played knight b6. Bishop f3 is the obvious move, putting more pressure here. I can't even imagine playing a move that's not bishop f3. It's just such an obvious move. And then Nakamura's thinking about whether to take the pawn or not. Not only can he retreat his knight, he can also play h6, sacking a piece. Probably black shouldn't take that. All right, both sides playing very slowly this game, considering it's a 15-minute game. Okay, Ding did play bishop f3, knight c4. Rook takes b7 as a simple tactic winning material. Then after rook takes, we play bishop takes, threatening these two. And white's up a pawn. But white didn't want to take this terrible bishop, so he just played h5. He could take this bishop later, but I mean, winning a pawn wasn't important to him, I guess, because this bishop is so terrible and his rook is so good. He would rather just have that there. Threaten to take the bishop later when it's better. And Naka played queen, knight c4. Bishop f8. Obviously, the bishop's attacked twice. Naka castled. And now the engine prefers black. Somehow he got to play b6 and he didn't take that. So now black is doing fine. Black can play queen d7 and a5. And white doesn't really have anything since white castled. So that didn't work out for Naka. h5, queen f3, knight c4. Now black has a good position. He just got pushed back. It was weird. I can't really explain why. I'm not good enough. Players aren't good enough either. I don't know. The players are confused. Because it doesn't look like anything happened, but the knight on a5 was really annoying because black couldn't move his queen side, and then black just played b6, and Naka didn't take on c6. So Naka had to make sure if b6 was ever played, he could take, and then he decided not to take. And maybe he was wrong to take. Well, then knight a5 is not good. It was good when he played it. Then later he has to figure out how to make sure b6 doesn't kick him out. It's hard to do that when you're playing a 15-minute game. If you're playing 40 moves in 2 hours or whatever, 30 and 90, then you could think forever and make sure b6 isn't good. But here there's other things to think about, like how do I mate the guy? Rawr. All right, now Magnus has more time again. Queen g3. Doesn't seem to be a lot going on, but the engine really likes black. Conversely, c5 That just seems like a blunder. All right. He took it. Good, good. All right, I'm a pawn up. My rook's on the 7th. My knight's great. You can't push this pawn because your knight's hanging. So that's just winning. I mean, he was losing anyway strategically. Now he's losing tactically. Yeah, white's passed pawn's much better than black's passed pawn because white has a rook on c1 and a rook on a7 and a knight on d4. That really helps the pawn move forward. Black's pawn can't move. And white's up a pawn. And white has 5 minutes extra. So it's really bad for Dubov. Papa John's is correct. Rook e5 is a risky move when the guy's queening because you want your stop the guy from queening. And Naka played queen g3. Yeah, both players are playing really slowly this game. When they get to move 30, they're both going to have like a minute and a half left. And then, they're going to start blitzing. I guess that's good for Hikaru if they start blitzing on move 30. He took there, and he took with the c pawn. Strategically not very good. This pawn's weak. He gives up the d4 square. Probably didn't want to do that. He played it really quickly, too, but it's not a good move. Yeah, this is very bad for white now because white can't do anything. This pawn's weak. This pawn's weak. White has 2 bishops. The d4 square, black has access to now. Yeah, this is very, very bad for Naka. He just got strategically outplayed the last 6 moves. Sometimes Carlsen does that. Obviously, Nakamura can't be super confident because he just lost a match to Wesley and he lost the game against Magnus the last round. So it's hard to be super confident when you play Magnus every game and you're sort of on a bad streak. All right, 5.5 minutes to 1 minute and white's winning. Man, this is really risky. God damn it. I mean, pawn's going to queen. I mean, he's what? Why is his rook here? I don't know. I like this passed pawn. That's super, super risky. Letting this pawn get, basically unabated to the 7th rank. And Naka's thinking forever. Yeah, both players are playing really slowly. Everybody's the greatest ever. Everybody's the best. Yeah. And nobody ever moves. There we go. There's a move. Yeah, white wants to play knight here, knight here. What? I'll allow that. I don't understand it, but I'll allow it. All right. Naka's been thinking 2 minutes on this move. It better be a good move. All right, what did he do? Rook c8, I assume. Yeah. 4 minutes and 41 seconds to 41 seconds. And a winning position. And lots of moves win. Rook b7 wins, knight c6 wins, rook b1 wins. Every move wins. Looks like Ding's going to tie it up. Hikaru plays rook d1, defending his weak pawn. Maybe he'll play d4 later. And knight c6 was the first engine move, threatening knight e7 check. You can't play rook e5. So he can either check or play king to f8. Then, I got that, so I don't know. Looks like black's just going to lose pretty quickly to me. He might lose on time before he resigns. Damn, Dubov. Time situation's not too good. All right, king f8, and then rook d1, Papa John's. I think after rook d1, he'll resign. I don't see a move that's not resigns. He might let his time run out. Yeah, after rook d1, you can't play knight d6. So, yeah. Yeah, rook e5 takes h5. Jesus. I mean, it's not good for stopping white's c-pawn. Rook b7, that's not as good as rook d1. It's still winning, but it's less good. King g7 doesn't make any sense because you play knight e7. I mean, he played king f8 to stop knight e7. That was weird. All right, so he'll play knight e7 or knight a7, either one, and then black's going to resign. I guess white was threatening knight a7. He had to play rook c5 there, by the way. He's still losing, but rook c5 is the best move. He just thought after here he'd resign, but he could, take. Yeah, okay, now he has to resign. Oh, he didn't resign. He played there. Resigning was better. That was a blunder. He had to resign. Yeah. The knight's going to move away. All right, this is ridiculous. White's going to move the knight. Black plays here. White plays here, and black resigns. It doesn't matter where he goes. It's all the same. Then when the knight goes here to stop the queen, you play rook c6, attacking the knight, and that's it. He just didn't have enough time on his clock to resign. Terrible. All right. And then after rook d1, he played b5, attacking the knight, c5. And you can see that Hikaru's pawn structure is not very good. So black's winning on the board, black's winning on the clock. And it's pretty Magnus-like performance. He took like a slightly worse position and turned it around. He has more time on the clock now. White has these two very weak pawns, and white doesn't have any counterplay. Okay, and he resigned after knight b6, knight d6, rook c6. He resigned because pawn's going to queen. All right, very good game by Ding. Very poor game by Dubov. But bad opening and didn't do anything. He didn't have any tricks ready, no novelties, just bad position. So, very poor. Man, Dubov never has any draws. Dubov has 0 draws in, 14 games, his last 14 games. Jesus. He had 10 wins and 4 losses? Something like that. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 wins and 4 losses against Ding and Karyakin. That's crazy at this day and age. That's why you guys like rapid and bullet and blitz more than slow chess, because there's fewer draws and there's a lot of blunders. Yeah, you guys like that. 1,000 viewers. Why do we have 1,000 viewers? We got another 175 viewers in the last 20 minutes. Is it a lie? Did somebody raid me? What happened? Papa John's? Perrier? Magnus is winning because you joined. Okay. And Ding and Dubov are 1-1. If Magnus wins, he's up 2-0. You know what's funny about this, if Magnus wins, is there's no draws. There's 4 decisive games in the first 4. Jesus. Because you raided me with my one-man army. All right. Barely 1,000. That is correct. This friend of mine, he texted me yesterday. He just graduated medical school, and he's got a job already. And he was really happy because he's been in medical school for a long time. And I said, "You're barely a doctor." I made it sound pretty convincing, right? Barely a doctor. Terrible. All right, Naka played king h2, which normally indicates you want to start checkmating, but I don't see how I guess he could play rook g1 and then g5 and just sack. Okay, maybe he'll do that. Maybe he'll play rook here and g5 and rawr, or Papa John's. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't understand this move. If he plays here, then I understand it. But he's going to have to start sacrificing. Problem is, if black plays knight e6, there's not going to be any sacrificing. Yeah, so that doesn't really work. Yeah. Yay, go Harstem. He's the best. That's right. Barely a doctor. Terrible. Man, I was just saying how Magnus can always play knight e6 in case of rook g1 and g5, and he played bishop e6, making sure he can't play knight e6. Showed me. Yeah, the engine doesn't like that move, rook c1, because black plays knight b3 and then c5, and he has a stranglehold. Yeah, that's right up Magnus's wheelhouse, and Magnus can take on a3. Yeah, it doesn't like rook c1. The card just gave up the a pawn. But c5 is a stranglehold, and rook takes a3 is winning a pawn, followed by b4. Yeah, so black's really winning. And black has an extra time on his clock. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he gave up his a pawn. I mean, that past b pawn's pretty annoying. Yeah, now I don't understand king h2. You know what you call a doctor that flunked out of medical school? A dentist. Oh, Seinfeld reference. Yeah. There's no there's no attempted Nobel Prize for chemistry. So what's attempted murder? Pimple Popper MD is a different episode, but okay. That was pretty good. The guy who plays the dentist from Breaking Bad, he's a pretty good actor, good dentist too. He was in about 6 episodes, I think. Okay, Naka played d4, his last chance to confuse the issue. Oh, the engine plays c5, wow. All right, I guess c5 actually makes sense, because if he plays d5, you have 2 connected passed pawns. If he doesn't play d5, you just win in 1 move. And b4 is also winning. These moves are really, really, really winning. c5 and b4, like super winning. I did that, not Magnus. Bryan Cranston, yeah. Yeah, Bryan Cranston was the dentist, yeah. Saul Goodman, I mean, the guy who plays Saul Goodman, was also in Seinfeld, but he was only in 1 episode. He played Elaine's boyfriend, who was in medical school. And then when he graduated medical school, then he left Elaine and gave a speech about it. And then Bryan Cranston's in several episodes where he's a dentist, I think 6. Okay, so b4 was played. Also, Bryan Cranston's wife in Breaking Bad plays Seinfeld's girlfriend in 1 episode. And George accuses her of kissing cousin Jeffrey. All right, b4. d3, knight takes. The engine's not a big fan of knight takes. It says it's winning, but it likes other moves better, like bishop c4, and the rook has nowhere to go. E takes d4. Knight takes d4 is okay. It's still winning. Let's see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, look away for a second. And Magnus is getting a queen. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Right, these are all the engine moves. Engine likes it. Queen b5 is the only winning move. Queen takes c7, it doesn't like. It says after queen takes a3, you play queen e5 check because you want to play bishop takes and take the rook. And that's winning, but that's the best that white can do. After here it says bishop takes f5 is plus 1,000. Yeah, That's what he did. Then you play queen b2. You want a queen. You want to take the rook, and you want to take on f2. So queen b2 is the next move, and then it's resignable. I mean, obviously that's pretty good. Yeah, and then queen b2 is the best move, threatening here and here and here. So if he takes with the g pawn instead and plays rook e7, then what do? I take this with check, and I can take this with check. Bam. And then I can just defend my pawn and take this. Jesus Christ. All right, this is +8 for black. All right, so he took this way. And then Naka's going to resign either this move or the next move. Possibly this move. If he defends his rook like with queen f4, I play a2, a1. So if you play rook d7, I take on f2 and I mate you. Yeah. Yeah, smooth victory for Magnus. So Magnus is up to 0, and Ding and Dubov are tied at 1. No draws. Rawr, no draws ever. Nobody ever draws. Now I like the chat. Yeah, buy Stuart Rachel's book. That is correct. Some guy in the chat on chess.com said, "Who is the elitist to whom Agadmador was referring to?" And I wrote, "Nobody knows." I'm the funniest. All right, a2, brute, queen a4, threatening the rook. So queen b8 check wins, rook c8 wins, rook b8 wins, etc. Papa John's. For reasons I don't understand, rook c8 is the best. I don't know why rook c8 is better than rook b8, but it is. I still don't know by looking at the analysis. Okay. Yeah, now he can play queen a8 and then resigns. Yeah, Naka resigned. This was the human move, because after queen a8, see, the engine wanted to like queen for nothing, and Magnus is like, yeah, whatever. Because after here you trade, white can give up his rook for the pawn. So he resigned. If you don't resign, you're in check. If you don't resign, then queen a8. And then I'm threatening the queen. And then I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing. Like, this is the threat. That threat's hard to stop. So this is the engine line, but that's not really good for white. So after queen b8, he resigned. So Magnus is up to 0, and Ding and Dubov are tied at 1. If Magnus draws or wins the next game, the match is over. They don't play a fourth game. Then they play another match tomorrow. But he's playing Hikaru. He's not playing Wesley So. So Hikaru is going to try to win with black. Hikaru is not going to play a 10-move draw like So did. Ballpark, frankly, delicious. Yeah. Ding have started, you think? Yeah, but I don't have the game, so I can't show it to you. I can only show you the games when they put them up. No, I don't think he's going to play a 10-move draw to get back to streaming. I think he's going to try to win. Yeah. Sometimes chess.com forgets to put the games up because they're doing other things. But yeah, I mean, if Botez Live is doing this, then I assume, probably I'm wrong, that she's getting the games from Live Chess also. Maybe she's not. Yeah. If you guys go to Botez Live or any other place that's showing the games, are they showing the next Ding-Dubov game yet? I mean, if they are, I'll go yell at them on Slack. But I'm not going to yell at them on Slack if nobody's showing it. I'll be like, hey, put the game up. They aren't? All right. And if nobody's showing the game, it probably hasn't started yet. Chess 24 is showing the next game. On Lee Chess, the game is up. All right. If it's on Lee Chess and Chess 24, that means the guys just forgot to put it on. That happens. I can't type Dubov because it won't let me do it. Peter. All right. $1,051, yay. Also, you have to understand the way people's brains work. You know, let's say, for example, I don't know, the Patriots. Let's say in the first game of the season, they lose 42-10. A lot of people are like, yeah, the Patriots aren't good anymore, you know, and they did this, and I knew they wouldn't be good this season. And then when they win 14 more games in a row and they're 14-1, then those people go hide somewhere. The point of the story isn't that the Patriots are good or bad. Obviously, they're going to be bad this season. The point is, people get really excited when something happens, and you should get more excited when there's a pattern. So, for example, there's Ferrugia. Ferrugia, when he plays 30-second and 1 minute and 3 minute on the internet, he's really good. He's probably top 5 in the world. And, you know, if he beats Magnus in a 5 minute or a 3 minute or 1 minute match, like 8-7, for example, that's good. But then you guys are like crowning him the world champion. And, you know, when Wesley won all those tournaments in a row that I was talking about last stream, nobody declared him world champion. They're like, yeah, Wesley's Wesley. And then he started playing badly after that. And then yesterday, the first 3 games against Takaro, he played like perfect in 10-minute chess. So people play well, they play badly, and that confuses you guys because you only remember the last game. So obviously, Dubov beating Karyakin 3-0, and then 4 days later beating him 3-0 again. Jesus. So, I mean, Dubov is on fire. He wins 3-0. He wins 3-0 again. When he lost to Karyakin that day, he should have won. He won like 8-3. He beat Ding the first game. So you might be like, wow, Dubov's the greatest player ever. Well, if Dubov does it for 2 or 3 years, maybe. But, you know, you see what I'm saying. So, you know, the fact that Magnus won 2 games in a row against Nakamura doesn't mean Magnus is back and Nakamura is playing bad now. Nakamura might win the next 6 games. You know, it's blitz, it's bullet, that's rapid, that's what happens. People win and lose a lot of games in a row. Basically, if you look at Yasser Seirawan's career and Mikhail Tal's career, probably would pick Mikhail Tal and then some. If you look at their personal games with each other, you'd pick Seirawan because Seirawan won all of them. So Seirawan's like 4-0 against Tal. But I mean, that's just happens. Sometimes you win or lose a lot of games in a row. If you do it over several years, that's better. Okay, so Dubov and Ding. And Ding played knight f6 this time instead of knight c6. This match is tied at 1. Yeah, again with the knight f3, that's not, all right. Yeah, so this is pretty boring. All right, so this is just a boring equal position. And Nakamura and Carlson haven't started yet. A lot of people in my chat misspell Carlson. However, I also see Magnus misspelled a lot, which I just see now. And the way it's misspelled is almost always the same. It's a very strange way to misspell it. It's Magus. I see you guys do that a lot. And a guy just did it on the chess.com chat. They put Magus. What? How do you misspell Magnus? All right, very suspicious. I want to see the chat here where I said nobody noticed. Okay. All right, so, okay, all right, this is extremely boring. So Ding's probably happy. All right. So Dubov doesn't have any draws this last 2 matches. Yeah. People misspell on purpose. No, they just can't spell. Yeah. That's right. Magnus is barely the world champion. That's correct. I'd say Magus is back. What's going on with the clocks? They're not playing on chess.com. So, yeah. Man, the truth hurts, Tomato Cup. Damn. That's what I am saying. He'll never draw again. Roar. If he was going to draw again, this would be a good game to do it. This game's pretty boring. All right. So Ding won. Are they going to show the Nakamura game? They are. Yay. Okay, so if this game is a draw, then the match is over and they don't play anymore. If Magnus wins, the match is over. They don't play anymore. And by anymore, I mean today. They play tomorrow. And the only way they can keep playing is if Hikaru wins this game, then they play a 4th game. All right, so Hikaru's playing for a win. So he plays G6. That's what they do when they're playing for a win. They play funky and funky. That's what they do. Carlson also does this with black when he's playing for a win. He plays an early G6. All right. And this is the boring world of Niels Bohr. So this match is tied at 1, and Carlson's up 2-0. Carlson's playing very solid, not aggressive, etc. How old is Dubov? He's not old. Dubov's probably 21 or something. Something like that. Magnus tweet is so good. Magnus tweets a lot. I don't know. He's 24. Did you ever miss Blue Water? What? No, I don't know that song. 2,407 subs. No. All right. Nakamura's almost guaranteeing himself he's going to lose by playing badly on purpose. because he has to win. See, Hikaru's correct that drawing and losing is the same, so he's making sure the game's not a draw. That way he's going to win or lose. So he's playing bad and giving Magnus an advantage, hoping to confuse Magnus. Wesley, conversely, in the same situation Hikaru's in, just played a 10-move draw. So that's just infuriating. And I knew Hikaru wouldn't do that. Hikaru was going to try to win. Because you got to try to win. You're down 2-0. Ridiculous. Now, the engine doesn't like what Hikaru's doing, because what Hikaru's doing is bad. But that's okay. He's got to mix it up. So much better to do what Hikaru's doing than what Wesley's doing. Basically, anything's better than what Wesley did. Wesley was down 2-0 and just gave up. Horrible. All right. So this game is pretty boring. I don't have any commentary about this game. It's really boring. Like, nothing's happening. It's just you're trading pieces. It's completely equal. Nobody can do anything. So hopefully somebody will play D5 or D4 soon, make the game asymmetrical, and then we'll have some fight. But right now there's no fight here. It's just boring. This game, however, is not boring. Like, Magnus castles kingside, then plays H4. Now you're talking. The engine agrees. White's threatening the pawn on G5. And positionally, Black's position is a little iffy. These pieces obviously aren't very active. And he probably figures eventually Hikaru will castle kingside, so H4 is going to be good. Castling queenside seems really difficult to achieve. Yeah. The final score with Naka and Wesley was 9.5, 8.5, based on their scoring system. The St. Louis club put up the wrong score of Fabi's match, and Chris Bird pointed that out, and they still haven't fixed it. I guess they don't know what the score of the match is. Fabi won 15-3, but it was a 12-game match, so I hope you're confused by that. Yeah. He did get 12. Now I'm getting confused. No, because two of the games he won were 3 points. Don't ask me why. And one of the games he won was worth 2 points. So for those 3 victories, he got 8 points. And then he won 7 other games. So he got 15, and Dominguez got 3 based on the scoring system they had. And St. Louis was confused, and they still are, and they put that the score was 12-3, which it was before the final game. And then Caruana won that game. So now, if you don't count the way that they scored the tournament, if you just say who won and who lost, then Wesley won by 3 points. No, I think by 2 points. Yeah, Wesley won by 2 points if you just look at wins, losses, and draws. However, one of the games that Hikaru won was worth 2 points, so Wesley won by 1 point with the scoring system that they used. They're going to use it again today and tomorrow. The scoring system is odd. It's called the Clutch Cup, and if you win games in the clutch at the end of the day, then you get more points. Confusing the audience. All right, and then I spoke for a long time, and Hikaru didn't move. So, all right, I guess I'll look at the other game. Let's see. We saw this position, and they traded some more. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You can't have a more boring position than this. The engine slightly prefers white if white trades and plays D4. And it says white's 0.1 better. But yeah, obviously this is not an exciting game. Yeah. Yeah, if Magnus wins this game or draws this game, that's the end of today's match. And this isn't the clutch tournament, this is regular tournament. So, all right, Hikaru will play G4. Magnus will play knight E1 and put his knight on either D3 or C2. And he's going to push his f pawn probably. And then g3 defends this. Maybe he'll play g3, knight g2. This pawn's attacked. So, I mean, white's position is really, really good. And white has 3 minutes extra. But okay, I mean, Hikaru's trying to win. He's probably going to go too far. All right. And they took everything. All right. Then black's probably going to play d5. I mean, black's definitely going to play d5. And then it's just completely equal. It's more than 100% he'll play d5. Might be 200%. Could be. And yeah. No, the just normal scoring system is good. There's no reason to change anything in chess. People are always changing everything in chess. Chess is fine the way it is. Half a point and 1 and everything's the same. That's all good. Okay, he put it in H. That gives up the g5 square. So Magnus is going to play bishop to g5. And black doesn't want to play f6 because it blocks his bishop. So he might have to play f6 because that's really annoying. Yeah, this is already strategically black's losing here. All right, and he played d5 as I guaranteed. King f1, and it's just completely equal. Take everything everywhere. He could take everything and draw, or he could play c5 and d4 and play for a win, and that's also a draw. The engine says white is slightly better, but that's not true. Okay, and Magnus did play bishop g5, obviously. Never play f6. Right. And black strategically lost here. Black's pieces are terrible. His pawn structure is terrible. White's position is magnificent. And the reason Naka did that was he has to win the game. So drawing is not an option. So he's correct to, do something that's sort of offbeat. It's very hard when you're black and you have to win and your opponent's the world champion. You have to win. You can't draw. So you play differently in those situations. And Hikaru has a lot of must-win games recently. Yesterday in the last game against So he had to win, and now he has to win again. So it's a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, the engine says f3 is the best move. Boo, boo. But yeah, you can see black's position is sort of silly. All right, 960 viewers. Let's hear some noises in the chat, or whatever it is, dun 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 da, and whatever else the noises are. What's the noise for a sub? It's different than a donation, right? I don't know. I just know the dun da da da, and then it says $2. Okay, so he did play c5, rook d3. He'll probably play d4 and claim tic-tac-toe. It's a good claim. Dubov is way behind on the clock considering how boring the game is. It made it more exciting when black played c5, and yeah, now it's more exciting. Now both sides could win. It's still equal, but it's not as boring as it was. It could get boring again, sort of like Trump, make America boring again. Knight here, take, trade everything, trade this and this. Okay, good. They traded knights. Yeah, this is still looking boring. It says white's better now because white can try to harass this pawn. I don't know if I believe that, but all right. So it likes this move and says white's slightly better. Okay, and then after castles, Magnus has been thinking for a couple minutes. He can play knight here, f3. And if he plays f3, that's different than not playing f3 because there's some tactics. And it changes the position. And knight c2 and knight d3 are pretty similar. Okay. So this position's slightly better for white and or equal. And Ding has a 6-minute time advantage. I think I'd rather have black in 10.5 minutes than white in 4.5 minutes. That's what I'm thinking. What happened? 9.99. Dun, 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 dun. You gonna play games this evening? No, at 4 o'clock I'm gonna do analysis of another tournament, which I've been doing every day. That ends about 8:30, and then I go home. So I'm doing analysis of the St. Louis organized tournament, the Clutch Cup, and actually there's only 2 players left. There were 4 and others too. It's going to be Wesley So versus Fabiano Caruana, and they're going to play 6 games of 10-minute with a 5-second increment. The first 4 games are just normal chess. The last 2 games are worth 2 points each. So if you lose the first 4 games and win the next 2, the match is tied. Confusing the audience. So I'll be doing that for 4 hours from 4 to 8 Eastern. Okay, so black wants to win this pawn, and white wants to win all the pawns. And the engine says it's about equal. He'll play f5, and then white's going to play g4. And then he'll take, king here, rook f6 check, king takes, rook takes. And that's slightly better for white. And so forth. After f5, white could also try h4, h5. And then if h5, I can play here winning this. I think it's b5 defends it. So white's better, but white's time situation isn't very good. But white has a nice advantage, it says. So Dubov could win. Dubov never draws, so you would expect him not to draw. Okay, so Magnus played d5, and Hikaru played f5, which is the engine move. Now you can't play f6 anymore, so he went back here. Queen e8, unpinning his knight, and then c5. Recommended by Jim Morrison in the Doors. Break on through. Yeah. So white's opening the position up for his pieces since black's pieces haven't moved yet. Okay, so they took on f4, or e4, took on d6. Magnus is going to take on e4, threatening the d6 pawn. And white has a nice advantage. Black has to win, but it just seems like a very bad position for black. And Ding's thinking forever because after f5, he sees all these possibilities for white. If the king goes here and tries to defend, white can distract the king, and then the rook gets active, and this rook's not very good. So white has a nice advantage here. This worked out well for Dubov. All right, and he played f5. Dubov can play g4 or h4. I'm not even sure which is better. Okay, he played g4. I think the engine liked h4. It's funny, I thought white could win a pawn in this variation, and I didn't notice that in this position, I could defend my pawn with b5. That I didn't see. Obviously, the rook ending's a draw. How's this king and pawn endgame? It says it's a draw. It says all zeros. f4, king e4, f5, king e5, and it says this is a draw. All right. I believe the engine. The engine's looking 35 moves ahead. I believe it's a draw if the engine says so. So that is what happened. He played, that's why the engine wants to play h4, because then if h5, I can play here. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. He's going to play check, king takes, rook takes, b5. And then it should be a draw. Dubov could try to win the rook ending by playing rook g7, and then if somebody wins, it'll keep his streak alive of winning. But this is all zeros in every variation, so this could be Dubov's first draw in the quarterfinals and semifinals. We've had no draws today, the whole day. We're on games 5 and 6. We have no draws. Magnus is thinking a long time. The engine likes knight takes as best. Taking this is second best. Queen d2 is third best. And Dubov's thinking forever here, but everything is a draw. Okay, and then he'll play b5, which I didn't see earlier until the engine showed me. Right. And if Dubov wants to win, I think he has to take the rook and hope that that's winning. It's not. And if he's sure it's not winning, because he's a lot better than me, then I guess if he wants to win, he'll play rook g7. But that's not winning. Black's king's really good. Black's pawns are good. So this will be a draw, even though Dubov doesn't have any draws the last million games. So there you go. Let's see. Germany, Brazil. Yeah. Results are close enough. Close enough. The only moderators who can change the score are Karen and Trying to Learn, and they're not here. So the scores will not be changed until one of them shows up. If Magnus-Naka draw, then they're done for today, and Magnus wins the match today, then they play a match tomorrow. If Naka wins, they play a fourth game today. Okay, Dubov traded rooks. The engine says it's a draw. I don't really see their side blundering, so I'm guessing it'll be a draw. B4 draws and F4 draws, and otherwise White's lost. King F3 loses, F3 loses. So I'm guessing he'll play F4 or B4 and draw. King F3 loses because Black plays B4, and Black actually can promote on the queen side. F3 loses because I play King E5, King F4. F3 is silly. So B4 and F4 draw. He played F4. The engine says every move draws. A5, King E6, King E4, King D6. Every move is a draw. I mean, if every move draws for both sides, it's hard to believe this will be decisive. So it'll be Dubov's first draw in several days. All right. And then he took on E6, which is fine. The engine preferred knight takes E4, but still good for White. Okay, knight F5, knight D3 is good. So the material's equal, but this pawn's very weak, and Black has a lot of empty space near his king, which White could infiltrate later. White's king is pretty safe, conversely. So yeah, knight F4 looks like it's coming. That looks pretty good. Rook E1 is pretty good. Knight F4, this looks great. The knight's putting pressure on H5 and E6 and D5 and D6. And knight F4 looks really good. It's a really nice piece placement by Magnus. Time is about the same. Okay, 5 is good. Knight D4 is good. All right, so Hikaru got the kind of position he wants. It's a weird position. He has more time. White's not completely winning. White's just better. You could see somebody losing this position with White, even if it's better. And A5 was played, B3. The engine says everything's a draw, no matter what either side does. So if one of the sides blunders and loses, Dubov will keep his streak alive. If the game's a draw, which it should be, then they'll go into the final game tied at 1.5. With the winner going on to the well, not going on, just winning today's match. All right, all those pieces jammed up in the center, confusing the audience. I must admit, I don't remember seeing this many minor pieces next to each other, like ever. They're all touching each other. That's really unusual. The 8 minor pieces are on the board and they're just clumped together. Dubov's going to be a new tie wearing. That is correct. Good Simpsons reference. A night out's a night out. $933 viewers. Boo, boo. I was saying boo or boo-orns. Magnus played rook e1. The engine agrees. Rook's better on e1 on the open file than f1 where it can't move. So the engine says queen f7 is the only move, otherwise black's losing. Because knight takes d6 is a threat. And there's a lot of stuff happening here. And Hikaru played queen f7. It says you could take this or take this and you're better. Marginally better. It's very complicated. Knight takes bishop takes f5. All the pieces are hanging. Knight takes d6 is an excellent move. Knight takes e6 is okay. He should play one of them. Knight takes d6 it requires a lot of calculation. Yeah, exactly, Dusty Lupus. That is correct. That I'm allowing for sure. Yeah. All the players need is leashes and they're all set. Can you play chess without calculating? You guys in the chat do it all the time. Huh. Okay, he played c4, which is less explosive than usual. Dubov's thinking a long time, but the engine says every move is a draw, including that one. Now, king takes c4 loses, it says, because of g5. So he has to take with the pawn. The idea of king takes c4 is to play b4 takes a4 to make a queen, but white's quicker. So he has to take with the pawn to draw. King takes loses. So maybe he could horribly miscalculate, take with the king, and then Dubov wins. Seems unlikely. Ah, so many pieces, I'm scared. Go Nightbot. Yay, 980 viewers. Yeah, the 8 pieces in the middle is funny compared to this position where there's no pieces. Ah, Magnus played the best move, shocking. So obviously if the knight takes, I can take the bishop. If the bishop takes, I play bishop takes here and all these pieces are hanging. And white ends up a pawn ahead because white won the d6 pawn. So this move wins a pawn. Caro's down a pawn. Right, and the bishop takes f5 is the only move. Actually, knight takes e6 is equal, it says. All right, so now white's up a pawn, and these 5 pieces are attacked. This piece on d6 isn't attacked, but it almost is. Very confusing. So if bishop takes here, we take this. If bishop takes here, we take this. And if knight takes here, we take this. If queen takes, we take this. Queen takes d4 is a pretty common move in those positions. You only don't do it if he takes this way. Okay, so they're still drawing. Took with the pawn. a4 is one of the drawing moves. f5 draws and g5 draws. They're both draws. He played g5, and it's going to be king and a pawn versus king. White's going to take, I'm just seeing this in my own head. This is what's going to happen. And then this draws, this draws, this draws. It doesn't matter. That's what's going to happen. All right, that's a draw. Even I can see that. All right, so g5, take here. Both players see that. Yeah. Also c3 draws after here. c3 draws and c takes d3 draws. They both draw. That's when you know it's going to be a draw when every move draws for both sides. There's like no way to blunder. I think he'll take the pawn on d3. It's my opinion. It doesn't matter. It's funny, after c3, black wins the a pawn. In this position, he has to play king e3 to stop the pawn. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. And now black wins the A pawn. Still a draw. It's funny though. That's either side can win the A pawn. All right. And he played took, he took. All right. And they played to stalemate. All right. And they drew. So they're going to play game 4, and the winner of game 4 wins the match. And if it's a draw, then they play an Armageddon game. And that's the first game Dubov's drawn in his last, 12 games with Karyakin and Ding. Okay, and after knight takes d6, he took with the bishop. He took this. Knight f5, knight e6, rook fe8. The engine agrees. Queen b3, the engine agrees. g3, engine doesn't like g3, but okay, Naka has to win, and he's down a pawn and worse, so I agree with g3. Got to mess it up a little. And now Magnus is 2 pawns ahead, and Naka's going to try to trick him on the king side somehow, but there are no tricks. So this is probably losing for black, but again, a draw and a loss is the same thing. So Naka's trying to get a confusing position and hope that Magnus blunders, which hasn't happened yet. Go, Karen. Karen's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Ooh, that's a good answer. Well, that's a good answer. Man, there's 2 good answers on the poll. I like when Bender says what, so I'm going to do that. Hey, trying to learn, or Karen, can one of you update the score? Put Dubov Ding 1.5, 1.5, and put Carlson 2-0. Yeah, Karu's going to draw or lose this game, and the match will be over. You're doing it now? Okay. Dubov Ding. That's close. All the mods can update the score. All right. Well, Dubov and Ding is 1.5, 1.5. And the other score is correct. It is a good day. You didn't have to use your AK. Yeah. What? Yes, what one? That's what I chose. What's one of my favorite lines in Futurama? It's the episode with the giant women, and then Bender finds out that a fembot is running the planet behind a fem computer. And then it's played by B. Arthur. And she says to Bender, do you know what it's like being a fembot, living inside a femputer, pretending to be a manbot in a manputer's world? Something like that. And Bender says, what? Bender saying what is one of my favorite lines. That's a great episode. Me one snoo snoo, out me way. I say that when I'm driving sometimes. Like people are blocking me or there's a yellow light I'm trying to get through. Me one snoo snoo, out me way. And also when he says, first you'll make love to the pretty women, then the petite women, then the large women, and the women are all the same. And then they show the basketball. Our women no can dunk, but they have good fundamentals. That more fun to watch. And then talks about the comedy. Everything's really funny in that episode. When Bender says what, he is really good acting. All right, Hikaru took with the knight. The engine says rook e3 resigns and rook a d1 resigns. It says that's a blunder. Bishop d2 resigns. That was bishop d2. What world am I in? Bishop d2, what's that got to do with anything? I need an adult because I don't understand bishop d2. What? Why is bishop d2 good? Like, this move I understand. That move I understand. Bishop d2 I don't understand. What's the point of bishop d2? Yeah, rook e3 I understand. All right. Yeah, now I'm going to double up on the bubble up. And, black's position doesn't make any sense. That knight's annoying. Yeah. Problem is, if you ever go here, I'm going to pin your knight, and you can't really get out of the pin, and you can't really let me take your knight because you're going to get double discover, triple check with a twist. Yeah, rook here is just a really obvious move. All right, so Naka's going to lose again, but he tried, unlike Wesley, who didn't try. Horrible. Naka gave it the old college try. Had to win with black, made the game sort of weird, but Naka didn't, Magnus didn't fall for any of his tricks. Game's not over, but it says white's +5 with the right move and +2.5 with the wrong moves. Magnus is up a pawn. Magnus has 30 seconds more. Magnus is Magnus, etc. Mainly, etc. Will Hikaru ever beat Magnus? He's beaten Magnus in individual games. Yeah. Chat's pretty good. Will Magnus adopt Hikaru? No, because you won't be able to play 10 games. JJ Wad 95 subscribed. Yay! 8-month streak. He's not staff. He can't turn on analysis. That's funny. What's the name of that what episode? I don't know. It's the episode where they go on a double date. Kif is dating Amy, and then unfortunately for Leela, she has to go out with Zap. And they're at a restaurant, and that's a funny scene where he sings, where Zap Brannigan sings, making fun of the Beatles song, making fun of the William Shatner version of it. And then he flies the restaurant into a planet, and they crash land, and then it's the planet of the large women. I don't know what the name of the episode is. It has a lot of large women in it. It's the planet of the large women. So, yeah. The large women, then the petite women, then the beautiful women. All the women are all the same. Me want snoo, out me way. We used to have men. They all die off. What'd they die off from? Crushed pelvis due to too much snoo. And then they show the skeletons and they're all smiling. Anyway, that's a great episode. Okay, so rook e3, rook c8, rook here, rook c6. Damn, rook c6 undefends your rook, Hikaru. I don't know about that. This is a little dangerous there. So this move is +10. It says you're taking the queen next move. I guess he'll go there then. It looks pretty good. This is +7.6. This is +6.5. That seems like the obvious move. Man, that looks pretty good. Bam. Willie SW gifted 2 subs. Thank you. Carlson's thinking a long time. He has less than a minute now. But the engine says good, good. And the engine really likes white. God damn. I've never seen the engine like white so much. I don't know what the best move is for black. It's not that. Knight c7 check is +22 right now. Now it's +30. Queen d5 is only +11. Terrible. Rook f6 is +10. Rook f6 looks good to me. Okay, knight c7 was the engine move. It's check. All right. Rook e6 is +30 for white. Other +60. Other moves are mate. This is probably a good time to resign. And he resigned. All right, you can update the score. If anybody wants to update the score, Karen, Trying to Learn, or other mods, put 3-0 Magnus. And also, this match is over. There's no 4th game. So Magnus and Hikaru can walk to the other room and go home. And then Dubov and Ding will play game 4. Maybe they already started. I don't know. All right. And I'll get back to one game analysis so you guys can see. So Magnus wins 3-0. And this match is tied at 1.5. Right, and the Kangaroo, the Dingler in score is 1.5, 1.5, not 1-1. Yeah, and if they start showing the Dubov Ding game, can somebody let me know? Because they're not showing it here. Did you see? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Back to streaming. All right. Yay. Okay. So if this game is a draw, there'll be Armageddon. And if somebody wins, the match is over. C5 is very unusual, and if it went takes, then it would transpose into just a normal Tarash Queen's Gambit declined. The C5 isn't the most common in the Catalan. Okay, he played bishop c5. So black's playing very unusual, which is what Dubov does, and so forth. Oh, wait a minute. I have to get rid of this. What's going on here? Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I only had one game up, but I had two. All right, so I'll go back just in case, because you guys like to complain about the H file or whatever. So it's a Catalan, and Dubov's playing a very unusual line I haven't seen. All right. The winner of this game wins the match, and then the next match will be tomorrow between the same four players. And if this game is a draw, then we'll see Armageddon. YouTube comments are deactivated because people are leaving comments that aren't related to the videos. They're just leaving nasty comments based on their stupidity. So we can't have hundreds of nasty comments we have to delete. If the comments were like, I don't like this video, I think, the analysis is bad, that's fine. But the comments aren't related to the video. They're just like, I hate you and you should kill yourself. So that's, we don't want those comments there. And since those comments are coming like several times an hour, we just turned off comments until the people either grow up or find something else to complain about or, die because they're drinking bleach or something. So, yeah. Etc. Yeah. The rules of Armageddon. Well, it's not Armageddon yet. White gets 5 minutes, black gets 4 minutes, and black gets draw odds. That's it. And they'll flip a coin to decide who gets white and who gets black. Yeah. Let's see. Age group. That's right. I thought Tide Pods was a long time ago. Yeah. Is knight c6 and b4 good? No. I don't know if somebody gets to choose or if it's, I don't know how it gets to choose. It's not Botez's chat. It is her chat, but it's just the XQC people. The people who normally go to Botez's channel to watch Botez and her chat are fine, just like this chat. But if XQC raids Botez or Hikaru, or he raids Hikaru, then he raids Botez, then it's full of XQC people who don't play chess and just put nonsense in. So yeah, so that ruins the chat. You can't chat anymore. It's unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this chat's really good chat for a chess chat. This chat's great. Yeah. Yeah. This chat's the best. You type something in the Naka chat and people responded? I thought that chat just scrolls. How can you even see what's in the chat? Wow. I always thought when they're putting all these weird things in the chat that I don't understand, that they just like push a button on their computer. They don't actually type in things and then it's all this nonsense. They have like a hotkey or whatever it's called and you just put all that nonsense. Because a lot of nonsense. It's hard to type all that. Salaflanders. Salaflanders. That's a good handle. Subscribed. Yeah. Yeah. Right. This chat, people are speaking English and we can read it. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah. What's wrong with knight a4? Oh, what's the logic? You control the c5 square, so your knight can go to c5, which is a very good square, and or the two bishops, what else? So that's a very common idea to play that way. So he took, yeah, I mean, this is just white having a slight advantage. Yeah. He played rook e1, which surprises me. Huh. I don't understand rook e1. I understand playing rook e1 in some positions, but not here. Huh. There, the engine says it's fine. All right. I mean, sometimes like bishop here happens and rook here, and you want to protect that. But you get to worry about that too. Sometimes we attack like this. I don't know why Hikaru lost 3-0. The third game didn't matter as much. I mean, Hikaru has to win the third game, so he can't play his normal game with black because he'd be reasonably happy with a draw with black against Magnus, and he would play, solid and good. It's losing 2 games doesn't mean anything. It's 2 games. Win 2 games, lose 2 games. Happens. Obviously, he probably didn't spend 7 hours a day preparing openings for Magnus when he's doing other stuff. Doesn't seem like Magnus spends a lot of time preparing either. I don't know who spends more time playing chess on the internet, Magnus or Hikaru. And Magnus is on the internet a lot, playing on Chess24, Chess.com, Lichess. Sometimes he does into the commentary for Chess24 when he's not playing in the event. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. They're both just doing chess all the time and probably very little study. Probably Caruana's studying a lot because he doesn't do any of that. I mean, Caruana's not going on Twitch or chess sites and just playing chess all day. So he's probably doing some opening preparation. Wesley doesn't either. Wesley doesn't really stream or play chess very much. He probably just studies like Caruana does. Okay, so bishop g5. Nope. This is all normal stuff. Great bishop. Great control of the c-file. Isolated pawn for black. The bishop hasn't moved yet. So I would say white is slightly better. The engine says it's equal. Don't they all play Cognito? I don't think Wesley and Fabi don't play. I don't think they play blitz chess on the internet very much. I think they mainly just study. Pomniachi plays a lot of chess on the internet. Scribble Beers is now hosting you. Yay. Hey, the person who rated me earlier with several hundred people, who was that? What did they stream? Do you guys remember that? It was like half an hour into the stream. It was about an hour ago. I said, like, what do you stream and who are you? And I don't think they answered. I don't even remember who it was. It was a poker player? I guess Streamlabs would have who rated me, right? Let me see. I think Streamlabs would have it. It was a long time ago. Maybe they don't say who rates you. I don't know. They don't have raids in Streamlabs? Who rated you? Here it is. Decreed Gaming. 454 viewers. Yeah, it was Decreed Gaming. This is who rated me. Do you guys know who that is? No, this happened just now. This happened 2 hours ago. Less than 2 hours ago, so yeah. Yeah, who's Decreed Gaming? What does he do? Anyway, it was like 450 people. He plays video games. Yeah. Some of your answers aren't the same. You guys are like naming every game online. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, he rated me. Yay. Go, whatever. Hey, this is what I was worried about, was this would happen. That's why I was scared to play Rook E1. Yeah. All right, so he played D3. So white either has to block the bishop, take the bishop, or play E3. The problem with taking the bishop is when I take back, you can't play knight C5, and the rook is attacking the A pawn because you just played rook C1. So you probably don't want to do that. The engine's actually playing this move. That way you get the C5 square, and you have the option later to take the bishop. But it's saying this is just equal. Unpredictable ever? Everybody, I guess. The super GMs only look at openings when studying. That's mainly what they do. And by opening, it could be move 25. Like, it could be the first 30 moves of the game or more. Usually, it's limited to like 20, 25 moves. Like, when lower-rated players are doing opening study, they usually forget what's going on between moves 4 and 8. Even if they study a lot, they get to move 6, and they're like, I don't know. But the top players can remember everything, usually. So, sometimes the preparation goes forever. Yeah, and then you want to look at a lot of different stuff. It's hard to remember all of it. Fabi does a good job of it. Okay, he took back. And yeah, black's probably slightly better here because this is attacked, this is attacked, this is attacked. Yeah, white's play, rook c1 wasn't very good, knight takes wasn't very good. So black is completely fine here. Yeah. It's funny, there was a guy in Michigan who was 1400. This is like 35 years ago. And he had every book on the King's Indian, every book, and all he did was study them. So he was studying King's Indian. He played the King's Indian with black. So every game was a King's Indian he ever played. Even when the guy didn't allow it, he still played it. And then he studied it. And once he got to move 5, he was done. He couldn't remember anything he'd read. So he played like knight f6, g6, bishop g7, castles d6. Then he was done. He knew that was the setup. And then whatever white did, he didn't remember what he read ever. So his moves made no sense after that. They were just random, horrible, nonsensical moves. And he just couldn't remember past move 5. He couldn't. It didn't matter what he did. And he played really badly. Like, he played worse than a 1400 after he got to move 5. Probably had to learn some other opening. But that was the books that he had. That's what he was studying. Okay, take. Knight d2. I mean, it's just obviously better for black. Now, this pawn's incredibly hanging. This gains a tempo. These rooks are fantastic. Yeah, this is just better for black. Why did Hikaru play so bad? I mean, he didn't play that bad. It was basically a 2-game match. He lost 2 games. That happens. Third game, he couldn't draw, so he had to go crazy with black. And Magnus played really well in the first game. Like, really well. I don't think Hikaru played bad in the first game. Magnus played better. Magnus was white. 15-minute game. I don't even remember game 2 where Hikaru lost with white. I don't even remember the game. Oh, yeah, I remember the game now. Yeah. Magnus just very slowly outplayed him. It didn't seem like Hikaru played that badly. It seemed like Magnus played the good Magnus, where he plays good and faster. And sometimes Magnus doesn't do that. Magnus sometimes plays badly, but he didn't do that. He played really well, and he played better than Hikaru. In the third game, Hikaru had to win with black, which is, Wesley would just take a 10-move draw. Ridiculous. So, tomorrow's another day. No, I didn't see Magnus and whoever his opponent is. Can you do analysis? But that's what I am doing. I'm doing analysis now. That's what this is. Yeah. All right, Rufus. Why not E2, E3? Let's see. I don't know what position. Not here. Here. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. I can't help you. Do you mean here? E3 here is okay. Yeah. You gotta be more specific. 1001. Is it Dalmatians or chess viewers? Yeah. Over the last 10 years, Naka doesn't do well against Magnus. That's, truth hurts. Some people have an opponent that they don't do well against. A lot of people don't do well against Magnus. But sometimes there's a higher rated player who's losing to a low rated player a lot. That just, they can't play against them. Happens. Check the percentages. Yeah, Magnus played well. All right. Check the percentages later when we're not analyzing this game. You can check the percentages. I don't have to do it. Give me your job. All right, so Dubov is much better. He's been outplaying Dingler in the whole game from a slightly worse position. Now he has the advantage. Fischer didn't do well against Geller. Fischer didn't do well against Tall until he did, but he didn't at the beginning. Tall didn't do well against Sarawan. Korchnoi didn't do well against, Korchnoi, Portish, and Tall, right? Yeah. Tall always beat Portish. Portish always beat Korchnoi. Korchnoi always beat Tall. Is that right? I think that's right. Not always, but they had big scores. Yeah, let's see. Karpov, yeah. Karpov was pretty good. Yeah. Tall couldn't breathe. Yeah, I guess. Korchnoi didn't do well against Ginger GM. Damn. No, the person who didn't do well, that's well known, of the top players, is Shirov when he was good. Shirov was a top 10 player. His lifetime record against Kasparov is really bad. It's something he's never won. And they've played like 30 times. And something like 24 wins and 6 draws. It's really bad. Because Shirov was, top 10 in the world for many years. And Shirov was supposed to play a match with Kasparov for the Kasparov World Championship, but they never got it going. Because Shirov beat Kramnik in a match to play Kasparov, and then they never played. Yeah, Shirov was beating everybody, but not Kasparov. No. He never beat him. A lot of people beat Kasparov that you wouldn't suspect, like Yaron Piquet and Joël Latier and Yasser Sarawan, and I could go on. But Shirov played him a million times and never beat him. Shirov played really aggressive and tricky, and Kasparov was better than him at that. So, yeah. All right, he played Bishop E4. The engine says that's a mistake because of Rook D8. Yeah, Rig D8 looks annoying because we're threatening all of White's pieces. Maybe Dubov's going to win this game and there's no Armageddon. Dubov wins with black. God damn. Do you have to get better at chess after reaching GM? It's always good to get better at chess. That would always help. Kasparov beat Shirov 15-0 with 14 draws. God damn. That's very similar to the Carlsen-Naka score before Naka beat him. Naka beat Carlsen in a slow-rated game. But before he beat him, he had a score like that, like really bad. But yeah, Kasparov never lost to Shirov. Damn. I've never played Kasparov. I've talked to him on several occasions and had many dinners with him, but I've never played him. Does taking the bishop win the b-pawn? Yes. Black's going to win the b-pawn, but he's supposed to play rook d8 first. It's supposed to be more accurate. But yeah, he's going to win the b-pawn. Yeah. Boo is correct. Magnus has 14 wins to 1 with 25 draws. It used to be like 10-0, and then Hikaru won a game. What about knight b4? Yeah, knight b4 is legal. Oh. Is Kasparov unfriendly and arrogant or friendly and arrogant? I mean, I don't want to use the word elitist. He's a bit of an elitist. So if you're 2750 FIDE or higher, Kasparov's reasonably friendly. If you're 2,500 FIDE or lower, he's not going to talk to you. So, yeah. So that's your answer. How come you didn't play a blindfold game during the dinner? He talks nonstop during dinners and nobody else says anything. So that's why. Yeah. Well, that's Karpov, not Kasparov. Trying to learn. Don't confuse Karpov and Kasparov. Yeah. Right. We've spoken back and forth when it wasn't a dinner. When it was a dinner, he just spoke. But I mean, like we were hanging out in St. Louis, then, we talked about a game that I lost once. That was funny. What do I think about Carlsen versus Naka? I think Carlsen won every game. Tomorrow's another day. That's what happens. Is Magnus-Naka playing? No. Magnus-Naka did play. Magnus won 3-0, and that match is over. So they'll play tomorrow. Yeah. Why can't Dubov simply play bishop e4 here? He can. Then White will play knight e4. That might happen. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, Karpov, I had a dinner with Karpov and Yasser once. That was very interesting. Yeah, I've only talked to Karpov on a couple occasions. Yeah. I stream every day, 2 or 3 times a day for the rest of my life. Could be short-ass life. Somebody said, why doesn't he take on e4? There you go, he did. All right, then he could take this, and he's up a pawn. Is Yasser as nice in real life as he is online? Yes. Yes, Deathbane. I can't, or Darthbane. Kasparov was supposed to play short for the World Championship. And Kasparov in short would say, and I believe them, that FIDE organized the match and bids and all that without consulting the players. And they decided to play in London at a certain venue, at a certain date, with a certain sponsor, with a certain prize fund. And Kasparov said, no, I'm not doing that. And Kasparov and Short got their own sponsors, also in London, with better prize money. And FIDE said, you don't organize the event, we do. And Kasparov said, I'm the world champion. If you want to organize a world championship, you have to discuss it with the players. And Short just went along with Kasparov because Short's going to get more money going with Kasparov. And Short's not going to play in the world championship anymore. That was his only chance. So, and then the FIDE said that's not the world championship. Now, FIDE has a point. I mean, FIDE organizes the world championship. Probably they should have consulted with the players more and made some agreements, but they're like, I'm FIDE. So it was a power struggle. And they had the championship and they didn't play the FIDE one. And they played their own. And FIDE said that doesn't count. You guys aren't world champions. Now we're going to have our own world championship. So that's what happened. And eventually, many years later, Anand was Anand. Let's see, what was Anand? Was he the FIDE one? Or was he the Kasparov one? It was Anand and Topalov. They played the reunification. Or maybe it was Kramnik and Topalov. Kramnik was the Kasparov world champion because he beat Kasparov. And then I think Anand beat Kramnik. And then I think Topalov won the FIDE championship and they reconciled that way. But there was like a 10-year period where FIDE said this guy's the world champion and Kasparov said these are the world champions. And the Kasparov world champion was always better. The FIDE world champions were jokes sometimes. Karpov when he was 1,000, Halifman, Ponomaryov. So the FIDE was sort of a joke, even though they were the organization. And Kasparov was like Kasparov, and then Kramnik, and then Anand. Pretty good world champions. So that's what happened. And now everybody's happy again. It's like boxing where there's like 10 organizations. But... Okay, so he didn't want this pawn. The engine wants it. He played here. The engine says that's just equal now. And it says this is a draw. It says like black has no advantage. It doesn't like this move. So this is all zeros. Probably will be a draw. Probably Armageddon. Yeah. Who give Carlsen the toughest challenge? Either Caruana or Ding. It's very clear that Caruana and Ding are, very close to Carlsen. And probably nobody else is. And he's probably not going to play either one of them. If the world ever opens up again, those guys aren't doing well in the candidates tournament. So, he's going to destroy Nepomniachtchi if he plays him. And MVL. He's way better than them. Nepomniachtchi's fun to watch, but he's not world championship caliber kind of player. He's like a tournament player. It's funny, after Nepo was playing great in the candidates and beating everybody and RAR, then he played some online tournament like came in last. That's just like, you don't see like Caruana, Ding, and Carlsen playing in 10-player tournaments and coming in 10th. But if Nepomniachtchi does that, you're like, yeah, all right. If Mamedyarov does that, you're like, yeah, all right. But they could win the tournament, but they could come in last. They're very finicky over there. But you don't see Ding, Caruana, and Carlsen coming in last. Nepomniachtchi, Mamedyarov, sometimes they come in last. Happens. Yeah. Super GM is just a made-up term. There's so many GMs, and their ratings are so far apart that they just said, okay, Super GM. There's no official distinction. Most people think it's either 2,700 or 2,750. That's what most people think. So that depends on your point of view. But if a GM is like a British GM, and they're like 2,430, and Caruana is 2,830, calling them the same thing is weird. Because Caruana would beat a British GM rated 2,430 like 9.5. So why are they both GMs? One should have a better title, if you see what I'm saying. It used to be there were like 50 GMs. Now there's like 1,600. So the bottom 600-700 GMs are nowhere near as good as the top 100. So there's so many now that, calling them both GMs is weird because one's a lot better than the other. When I was a kid, somebody said the best GMs in the world are better than the worst GMs in the world, more than those worst GMs against a 2,000 player. That's what I was told as a kid. So if you took like the 10, 20, 30 worst GMs in the world, they're closer to a 2,000 player than the top 10 players in the world. Maybe. Close. Truth hurts. So, calling one a GM when he's not in the same class as the other one is like weird. All right. I just call them British GMs. So I took care of it. When I say British GM, you guys know what I mean. All right. All right, all zeros. I'm like an average GM, even when people call me a weak GM, but I'm like an average one. There's a lot of GMs who are between like 2340 and 2440. My peak rating was 2563, but obviously if a weak GM is like 2400 FIDE, I mean they're 450 points FIDE worse than Magnus. So yeah, I mean that's the worst, etc. Yeah. Well, Ginger GM is the exception, obviously. I'm just an older GM. I'm not at my peak. I'm old. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when GMs are at their peak and they're still 2,400 and truth hurts. Keith Arkell and, basically all the British GMs. Simon Williams and many of them. Yeah. There's very few GMs in America who are, usually 2350 to 2450. Irina Krush is an example. She's, closer to a 2000 player than like Magnus. But occasionally Irina puts it together and she, wins 1,000 games in a row. And she did well in the China match, even though Wesley didn't. So, yeah. There's a lot of GMs who barely get their title and it's a little iffy and their rating never gets very high. See, the thing is, some GMs, like Magnus and Hikaru and all that, their performance rating is always 2,700. Then there's GMs who got 3 GM norms and that's it. Like they're playing 2,400 their whole life, but they've played in 80 GM norm tournaments and got 3 norms. If you play 80 GM norm tournaments and get 3, and in 77 you don't, maybe you're not GM strength. Maybe. But even somebody like Josh Waitzkin, who you've heard of, he never got GM norms because, he was famous on paper, not in real life. A lot of people who are pretty good can't become a GM, like Eric Rosen, John Bartholomew, Greg Shahade, etc. Ratings are pretty high, they play really well, but they don't get the GM norms. It's tough. Truth hurts. Here's a good example, like Danny Wrench is an IM, right? And he's like 2380 FIDE. He's all right. But when he plays strong GMs, the top 10, 20, 30 in the world, the goal is to get half a point out of 10. And they have these matches all the time. And I don't know if this is true, but 1 or 2 days ago, when he played Nepomniachtchi and they played the Adopt a Danny, you try to adopt Danny at 3 time controls. I read that Nepomniachtchi adopted him at all 3. So he beat Danny 30-0. Now, a normal GM isn't going to be Danny 30-0, but maybe like Magnus would and Nepomniachtchi and Hikaru and so forth. But that's pretty crazy. I wouldn't expect Danny Wrench to beat a 2000 player 30-0. I wouldn't. So it just shows you how big the difference is between, a regular IM and super GMs. It's a huge difference. All right, so Rook B1, Rook E8. It's just a draw. It's just equal. The engine really hates Queen F3 for some reason. It wants to play Queen E4 or Queen E3. It doesn't like this move. Rook D7 doesn't like that move. What does it want to play? Queen C4, Rook D6. That's what happens when you have 2 minutes on your clock. You just play random moves instead of the accurate ones. Queen C4 and Rook D6 are good, preventing him from playing Rook takes B6. Queen here is funny because the idea is you play knight c4 attacking the queen, then you take the knight, and then you play knight takes e2 check. So after queen c4, you have to play king g2. This idea of knight here, queen takes knight, knight takes is pretty common. Rook d7 just like very passive. F5 is pretty aggressive. All right, well, black's still a pawn up. Not that these pawns are queening, but, all 3 results are possible. If I'm 900 ELO, who can I 30-0 against? A lot of people. If you're 900 strength, you can beat random person on the street 30-0. Like billions of people, you can beat 30-0. Tournament players, that would be tougher, but some, not many, some, yeah. Let's see. Ken Rogoff. Yeah, Ken Rogoff's good. Don't forget for trains. Another train. Why'd you always act like Josh wouldn't have got a GM norm if he didn't keep playing? He would have got a norm. He would never be a GM. It wasn't good enough. Let's see. FIDE ratings? I don't know. Sure, why not? Yeah, Scam Train. Well, I like that. Whatever you did there. That looks like a Simpsons character. That looks like one that would be played by the guy whose wife killed him. What was his name? Troy McClure? What was his real name? Ian and Danny, or Ian and the Best AI? Probably Ian and Danny. Monorail. Phil Hartman, yeah. Monorail. Can Hans Zimmer make GM in your opinion? Yes. Hans is already GM strength. And Hans is like 16, 17. He'll be a GM, yeah. Monorail. But that was played by Phil Hartman, the Monorail guy. Yeah. No, Hans will definitely be a GM. Yeah. Is Demon better than Kamer? No. That's also not close. No, Kamer's a lot better. Favorite Elaine Bennis moment? Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Yeah, but she got like double mastectomies or something. I don't think she's gonna die of cancer. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. My favorite moment of hers on Seinfeld? Oh no, I like a lot of Elaine moments. I have to think about it for a long time. I know like dozens of Elaine moments, so I don't know. All right, so King H7, Queen B5. The engine thinks all these moves are inaccurate because the players are moving in like 10 seconds, but it still thinks it should be a draw. Yeah, it says every move is a draw, so we're probably going to see Armageddon. Every move's a draw. It's like the last game they played. So Dubov never draws, then he draws every game. No, Garu lost. It happens. His opponent played better than him. Dun, da, da. Moderators are taking a nap today. Man. Which country has the best young chess players? I don't know. All young chess players are good. Didn't deserve a sponge. Do you watch cricket? No, I'm American. I don't watch cricket. Dubov did work with Magnus. That's correct. Man, so there's no moderators here? Or you guys are all asleep? Man, need more moderators. That was good. Yeah. Games were close, yeah. Let's see. Trying to work. Boo, boo. You unmodded everybody, what, like 2 years ago? I have plenty of mods. How do you enter GM norm? You play good. I will bring order. I don't make people mods. That's Karen's job. Okay, thanks here. I don't understand why he played knight d6. All right. It's not a bad move. I just don't understand it. I guess if knight takes b6, he'll play rook c2 and knight e4. Although the engine doesn't say he'll do that, so I don't know. All right, it's a drawn position, but both sides have 40 seconds. I don't know. I guess somebody could win. I guess either player could win. All right, rook takes b6, gets to a drawn ending. Knight d5 repeats. He decided to get the drawn ending. Yeah, then rook takes e2, rook b6, rook e7, king f3 is a draw. They made a lot of moves. So this will be a draw, and we're going to see Armageddon. All right, and this is just a draw because black can't do anything. And that's all the guys. All right, I told them Armageddon's coming up. H4, H5, yeah, all right. Just a dead drawn position. Dubov should have expected the pre-move. There's a 10-second increment, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of pre-moves. Yeah. That is a good Elaine moment when she reads the recipes to him. Yeah, that is a good Elaine moment with Soup Nazi. I agree. Well, Dubov's trying to win, but he can't win. But he's trying. Could lose. I guess he can't lose. I'm trying to see a way White could win on the king side, but I don't see a way to do it. Jason Alexander? Yeah, my son Spencer saw Jason Alexander off Broadway. Yeah. I know movie Armageddon. What is Armageddon? You just said what it was. It's, 5 minutes to 4 and black gets draws. Armageddon, black. That is really funny when she keeps paying Jerry Seinfeld because she's with Putty. There's one where he's smoking a cigar and laughing. That's a really funny scene. That's one of Jerry's best moments, when he's laughing, taking the money, and he has a cigar in his mouth. Well, both players are forced to watch Armageddon. That's against the Geneva Conventions. That's funny. 50 cents. Yay. I knew I was streaming for a reason. Chess went live. What are they doing at 1? What are they doing now? What event do they have? They always have an event. You guys know what event Chess is doing? Chess went live at 1, so it's a 1 o'clock event. Titled Thursday. I assume he's kidding, but I'm not sure. Somehow it says black's better now. Wait a minute, what happened? Okay, draw, 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 draw. Draw, 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 draw. It doesn't like rook b1 check. It says every move is equal. Rook a1, f4, f3. This move it says black's better now. King, not winning, but better. This is the way I like to win games. I can't believe black's going to win. I can go home earlier if black wins. 52 cents, 53 cents. Yay. I must have missed the 51 cent one. Yep, there's the 51 cent one. You keep doing that, everybody. If everybody gives me 50 cents, I'm good. There's 1,000 people here. What was my best rating? 2563 FIDE, 2663 USCF. Crasher George, he crashes the party. Yay. You can have 9 cents. I'll take it. Wow, the engine thinks black's going to win. It doesn't like what white's doing with all these checks and letting the king go up. I don't believe it. It'll be a draw. 500 centidues. 101 centidues. Another train. Why are USCF different from FIDE? They're different organizations. So they have ratings that are FIDE rated in the world, and the US has USCF rated tournaments in the US. One's for the US and one's for the world. So they have different ratings. Sort of like Lee Chess has ratings and chess.com has ratings. A lot of countries have their own ratings. The UK has the British grades and so forth. All right. So he played king c4. Instead of trying to win, he goes back to c4? What? All right, he's repeating. Okay, that's better. King e6. So if the rook goes here, I go back and this is hanging. If the rook goes sideways, this is hanging. So he has to make a decision. Go hype train, just scrap. Yay. USCF does not want to use FIDE ratings. USCF makes most of its money by rating tournaments. If you want a tournament USCF rated in the US, then you have to pay the USCF to rate it. So that's where they make most of their money, is by putting out ratings. That's why you join the USCF, to check your rating. Now, you guys don't know this because you're really young, but 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, FIDE rating minimum was 2,200. So USCF ratings were very important because 99% of people in the US didn't have FIDE ratings. So had to have USCF ratings. In a lot of countries, just nobody had ratings. And then FIDE eventually went down, 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 especially to compete with the US to get those people and get more money. Yeah, when you want something FIDE or USCF rated, you got to pay. That's why they do it. 4 centidues. That's how FIDE earns money, with titles and rating fees. Yeah. Magnus won 3-0. Okay, so he played check. King e5, b6. Good. That's good for black. Okay, f4. Rook c1. Wow. He wants to play here and take. Yeah, black's winning now. Rook b6 is winning. Wow. Played rook b6. Oh, if he checks king g4. Oh, that's no good. Black is winning, but black has 20 seconds. So 50-50. King takes g3 is winning. Wow. Dubov wins this drawn endgame. It was all zeros. I mean, it was all zeros, but black was better. But white had lots of moves that drew. He just found a way not to draw. Man, I was just telling them, it's going to be Armageddon. Never mind. Dubov winning. All right. Wow, he won that drawn ending. Dubov doesn't like to draw. Yeah, I see the right plan. That's why I'm a grandmaster. Here, here, here. This move wins. The king moves all win. White can't get any counterplay here. Everything wins. 20 seconds will be plenty. Let's go, hype train. 100 centidues. Don't forget the train. Go train. He's got to play king e5. And then rook b5 check wins, and probably king c3 wins. But rook b5, he played king c3. Has to play rook b1. Okay. And does every move win? Every move wins. b2, king c2, rook b5. All the logical moves win. That's pretty impressive that rook and pawn ending win. Pinky Jim just earned a 25,000 bit badge. Yay! Hooray! Yeah, that's one of the winning moves. He'll move his rook to h1 or g1. Probably h1. Put it in h. b2 wins. The king moves all win. Man, harsh. Yay, 500 centidues. We need 500 more. The train ends. Or 2 subs. Every move wins. Queenie wins. It all wins. Every move wins. It doesn't matter what he does. Queenie wins. King c3, king d3. 500 centidues. Yay. Thanks, 5-inch taint. All right, hold on. He queened, takes, f6. Every move still wins. Rook f1, king d3, king c3, they all win. Yeah, he's going to win king and pawn versus king. He's going to sack his rook here and play king takes h5 and win. That's what's going to happen. Nope. He's going to play king e5, then he's going to play king f6. Does king f5 win too, or just king f6? No, just king f6 wins. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, rook takes, king f6 wins. King f5 draws. He'll play king f6. That's for sure. 1,000 centidues. That's very instructive. So he probably resigned. King here's a funny move. Then you can't, taking doesn't win. You get to play king here to win. Yeah, that's funny. Wow, that's amazing that Dubov won that endgame. Man, Dubov doesn't draw very often. God damn. All right, so Dubov wins the match. Carlsen wins the match today, and they play another match tomorrow. The same players. I don't know if he resigned. I'll make the moves in case the game's over. So queen takes, and king f6 is the only winning move. Then the king can't come closer. King f5 would be a draw, and then draw. But king f6 wins, and then it doesn't matter what white does. And then here. Okay, so they're still playing actually. He did play king e8. Yeah, then king e6. Yeah. And then he resigned. That's what I just showed. And then he resigned because, here. Wow. So let me show you what Ding did wrong. So up until here, he played great. Right. And here, rook b1 check is really bad. Forcing the king to come in. That's terrible. Yeah. It says every move draws but that. So that's pretty terrible. Let me play like a random move because it supposedly draws. Now, if I want to win, I should move my king up. So let's try that. And it says this is a draw. Check here, here. And the problem is I'm going to go here. So that's what Dinglerin missed. The problem with black's position is if white doesn't do anything and doesn't let the king cross, which is what he did, he let the king cross, and black starts doing this, he's running away from his pawn. So I play king here, king here, then I'm threatening rook c7. So if I was black and I knew that, I would play b6. Okay, so I could, so I could, but now I can check and you can't move your king in here because your pawn's hanging. See, when your rook's protecting your pawn, he didn't realize all that. So white just does nothing and black can't do anything. Black's rook has to stop rook c7, and black's rook has to stop king takes f5. So that's the only square for the rook. So white can just play king here and here, right? But instead he checked and forced the king in here, and then he lost. So this was rook b1 was the losing move. Yeah. Yeah, this is the losing moment. Yeah, so Rook B1's the only losing move because that lets the king in. If you just do nothing, Rook C2, King E6, F3, F4, any move, the king can't come in. But yeah, once the king comes in, then he's winning. Yeah, and this is actually probably winning. Yeah, because this pawn's weak, this pawn's weak. Then you can't attack these pawns. Yeah. Amazing. That was a very long game, by the way. 76 moves. So Dubov wins an amazing endgame where it should have been a draw. And he's up 1-0. They play again tomorrow. Ding also lost the first match to you, but then he came back. Not you, but yeah. Yay, 100 centidues. The hype train ended. People of the world, don't join in. The hype train's over. Let's see. Can't raid them. Can't raid them. Can't raid them. Don't understand what that is. Let's see. Too many lunatics there. She's leaving anyway. What's chess showing? What event are they having? Does anybody know? Chess isn't showing this. Chess is showing something else. Chess isn't live. I can see it's live. No, I see chess. Oh, it's Chess Kid? Oh, I could read Chess Kid. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. Raid Trust 24. Oh, if you hover over it, it tells you what they're doing. It says chess. Oh, Funmaster Mike. I like Funmaster Mike. Don't send us to kids. Ray Botes for more karaoke. Funmaster Mike. Recommended channels. Nope. I'm not reading any of them. Yeah. All right. Raid. All right, so you guys have 2 hours and 44 minutes. That's when I'll see you next time. Bye.